Here we go now.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. How would you guys rate? This was the season finale for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Uganda's in the building. Where's everyone watching from? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know where you are watching from. This is one of our last recaps of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16. We watched the season finale together last night on TikTok. Who was there? Let me know in the live chat as well. What's going on? Nathan says, first time catching a live. What's going on? If it's your first time catching a live, let me know in the live chat. And as always, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how you would rate the season finale for the Real Housewives of Atlanta as well. I thought the finale, the end was the best part of the finale. And I don't mean that in a shady way. I mean that literally. Like, the last part of the finale was the best part of the finale for me. Because it felt like they were just trying to finish everything up in regards to everyone's storyline. And that was it just felt like trying to push everything in. And then, okay, now we have the big aha moment at the end. London's in the building. South Florida's in the building. St. Louis is in the building. Baltimore's in the building. What's going on, DMV? West Tennessee's in the building. What is going on, everyone? Philly. Teach for Life. Are you coming to my Philly show on July 10th? Literally, guys, it's less than 2 weeks away. I will be in Philly next week. I'll be in Philly next Thursday at the City Winery. Tickets are still on sale, so make sure you guys get your tickets for that. Then, of course, we'll be in Atlanta on August 5th. Then I'll be in D.C. So DMV come out. I'll be in D.C. on August 22nd, then back here in New York City on September 12th. We have a lot to unpack. Natty says Brit's part was a snooze. There were a few parts that were a snooze, and we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to spend too much time on scenes that were just not big factors. Guyana's in the building. Connecticut's in the building. Good girl, are you coming to the Philly show on July 10th? Pensacola's in the chat. See you. London, UK, US Virgin Islands, Michigan. What's going on? Fort Lauderdale. Fort Myers, Florida's in the building. Angela's the only reason I've been watching Kempire. You look like you need... Wait, hold on. I missed your comment. You look like you need sleep handsome. Why do y'all say that to people? I know y'all don't mean to be intentionally shady. Why would y'all say to someone, you look tired, or you look like you need sleep? How do you think, what if I got like 10, 12 hours of sleep and y'all just made a comment? Now I'm like, wait, do I look bad today? Why do y'all say stuff like that? And it's not, it's usually like the black mamas, the aunties. They're like, oh, you look like you need some sleep. Excuse me, I could have just did a whole facial, did my skincare routine. Why do y'all say stuff like that? I'm asking. I'm not. Thank you. Singer DST says, you look perfect, Kempire. Thank you. Lord have mercy. Patricia says, love you, Kempire. Thank you so much. Jennifer's in the building, watching from Georgia. Kiris is laughing. But y'all know it'd be those aunties and uncles that be like, you look tired. Are you okay? All right, what you look like? Look what you look like. Thank you, Mary. Mary Jane got a new picture. Okay, Mary Jane. Mary says that you look. She said you don't look tired, but you look real relaxed. Oh, okay. That's a nicer way of saying it. Okay, you see how she did it? You see how Mary Jane did it? She said I don't look tired, but I look real relaxed. You know who's crying today? Marcus. Here's the thing. The Marcus of it all, he's not a reliable reporter because he's changed his story multiple times. He's thirsty. I don't know why he's so thirsty to be on reality television. I don't understand it. I don't understand the behavior, but it's giving thirsty. And I hate the fact that Drew and Angela met up with him and filmed with him. You guys gave him what he wanted. Like, he is so look, we know there are desperate people to be famous or to be on reality television. Oh, but this is the thirstiest like, he's so, I didn't bring water in the room. You know, we're going to have to take a commercial break. Speaking of thirsty, the more I talk about Marcus, I'm going to need some water in here. We're going to have to take a commercial break shortly. All right. Oh my God. He is just so whack, so thirsty. And this is someone that should not want to be on television because now everybody is in your business and how you can't go near schools. Like, but do I think that Phaedra has something to do with it? Someone does. And for Phaedra to be like, oh, why would I do something like that? Andy Cohen confirmed that she was benched. We all knew it, but Andy confirmed it on Watch What Happens Live. Jesse says, go get your coldest. I'm going to get my coldest water bottle because we have a lot of things to get into. And there's no way I could do this without having my water near me. This is where I need an assistant. This is where I need a boo that lives with me. Boo, can you grab me some water? Crickets. Look, crickets. Boo? Someone? No? Oh, okay. Damn. No. It's all right. It will be all right. All right. Despite me looking tired. Okay. No, I'm playing. All right. We're being facetious. Calm down. All right. All right. So before we get into the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 finale, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Let me just say this. Our show is brought to you by our friends over at Factor Meals. You know, on a busy day like a Monday, because we still have to talk about Diddy later on today. So stay tuned for that. They're getting the jury should start deliberating today. Okay. But our friends over at Factor make it easy for us to have a meal ready to go in just 2 minutes. You know, we've been talking about Factor meals for a very long time. They're giving you chef-crafted, dietitian approved. They give you a variety of options in regards to food options and add-ons, like 40+ add-ons. It's the summertime. I don't know about you. I met with my dietitian a few weeks ago, and we were talking about different things that I can make. And then I was just like, it's the summertime. I'm covering Diddy. I don't have time to be making any sort of dinner, okay? So Factor Meals makes it so easy. Summer is officially here. More sun, more light, more time to do all the things that make summer so special. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing all summer, spending hours cooking inside. That's where Factor comes in. Factor chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. And a lot of you have tried it and told me how much you love your Factor meals. This is the perfect time of year to try them out if you've been wanting to try them out, because you don't want to cook. You don't want to turn on the oven. You don't want to be over a hot stove. So, of course, I've gotten you a discount. Get started at factormeals.com/Kempire50off and use code Kempire50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Kempire50off at factormeals.com/Kempire50off. Okay, for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/Kempire50off. So check it out. More information will be available on Factor Meals in the description. All right, let's get into this episode. Because, again, live chat, how would you rate this week's episode? Let me see what you guys are saying in the live chat right now in regards to how you would rate this episode. Hold on, let me scroll up. All right, so I have to say, the last couple of weeks, the ratings have been better, more in the 7 to 10 range. But maybe that's not saying a lot, especially when it comes to we're on the final 2 episodes, and now finally you're getting 7 to 10s. But 52% of you are rating this episode between 7 and 10. Keep voting, because we have quite a few of you that are just joining us for the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. So let me get into this. Let me get into And look, the after show wasn't really after showing for me. We also watched that last night. I feel like the after show is supposed to give us context, and I don't feel like I got a lot of context in regards to. But again, it's just the same regurgitation of lies and lies and more lies. Okay. All right. I should put in the chat, and you guys will let me know if you believe Phaedra had something to do with it or not, or do you believe Kelly or Brit had something to do with it? Again, I'm not saying that Kelly and Brit did not have something to do with it, or it's not possible for Kelly or Brit to have something to do with it. It just doesn't make sense in the timeline of what we're watching. Again, we're watching an edited show. Could things have happened between Kelly and Angela or Brit and Angela that they edited out so it doesn't make sense to us? It makes more sense based off of the confessionals that Phaedra has done. Yes, it makes more sense. But based on what we've seen of Kelly this season, I don't feel like that Kelly would do that. And I know he came to Kelly's event, but even when he did the toast, Kelly was like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. First of all, he seems unhinged. If we're being honest, and I'm very wary of people in my space that feel a little off. Feels a little off. I've seen the allegations against him. Okay, so I'm a little wary. Like, if I saw a Marcus across the street, I'm going to go join Kimora across the street. So he seemed a little odd. Even when he came in at the end and he's walking in like meek and mild. Like, sir, you came in with big and bold talking about let's cheers to, Charles is cheating on Angela. You're big and bold on your podcast and on social media where no one's paying attention and all calling you like you thirsty fan. You're big and bold there, but you walking in with Angela and Drew like, hi. But look, Charles has something good for you. Angela, why didn't you tell Charles? I know why you didn't tell Charles. You didn't tell Charles because you knew Charles would be like, no, we're not doing that at my event. Charles, the enforcer, was about to enforce. And honestly, I wanted him to. I get it, Angela. You wanted to clear Charles's name. I just feel like you have a very weird way of doing stuff. And I noticed that from the beginning of the season. I feel like you were producing. However, I get it. You wanted to clear his name. I get the intention. But he walking in there all meek and like this. Hi. Mind you, he's grown. If you don't walk with your chest, you don't come there with you and Junebug. Walk there with your chest. I really don't even want to spit. See, this is your fault, Angela. The fact that we have to even talk about this thirsty fan being on the show is your fault. You extended his life on the show. It's your fault. The fact that we have to even talk about Marcus and his lies. All right. Let me start from the beginning. Let me start from the beginning because we will spend a lot of time talking about what played out at this gala. All right. Jasmine says you ain't lying. I wish she didn't do that. All right. So Porsha, Lauren go over to Phaedra's home because Phaedra's going to help them plan the funeral for Londi. We found out that Lauren was actually on the phone with Londi. We still don't know what really happened. It seems as if something very sudden happened when it comes to Londi's health. And she transitioned while on the phone with Lauren. Really, really sad. So Porsha goes over with Lauren and they're talking about the planning for the funeral and they're helping with the planning because Londi's sister and mom really just can't. They're in the middle of all of this, so they're helping. And apparently Phaedra recommended the pastor. Phaedra's so weird. Here's the thing. So apparently Phaedra recommended the pastor. Why did Phaedra have to say, hey, ain't he cute? Ain't he cute? We are in the middle of grieving. I don't care about my pastor being cute. She's so weird. Like, she's awkward and weird. She says weird things at weird times. I was just like, okay, I guess he's cute. Even Porsha is like, yeah, it's very nice. Oh, yeah. So they're having a meal, they're eating and things like that, and they're talking about the preparation, and this is where Phaedra talks about helping them, and she's like, I'm the chairman of the usher board to heaven. Lies you tell. Ain't nobody coming to Phaedra who gonna lie on people with our allegations lying on people, claiming that people have our allegations against them. Ain't nobody going to you to get us into to the gates of heaven. Please understand that. We still remember what Angela Stanton said about you and Apollo. Ain't nobody coming to you. You are not part of the usher board into heaven. Maybe hell. Come on, stop with that. 1 minute you want to be a saint, and then the next minute you want to be twerking on the internet. Literally, you saw the new video of her twerking. Like, come on, be the usher board. You're the chairman of the usher board. No, you're not. You're the chairman of the usher board to hell. Stop with that. So they're planning the event, and the plates were beautiful though, Phaedra. I will say that the plates were beautiful, and there were butterflies on that. And Lauren says that she's been seeing a lot of butterflies since Londy's passing. And then Phaedra says, "Oh, do you want to do like a release of butterflies?" And then of course, 265 days of the year, Porsha Peach Juice Williams, no longer Gobadia, is like, do they come back? So sometimes I wonder if she's being serious or is she leaning into being like dumb. So I'm wondering, but it was a cute, funny moment. Let's move on. Okay. I will say this, what I can appreciate from Angela, and Angela said this in interviews, like she's like, I have no reason to come on the show and not be my most honest, vulnerable self. She has literally said that in multiple interviews since being on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And that's what we've seen. Even to the point where we're like, Angela, I don't think we want to see all of this stuff when it comes to you and Charles's relationship. You know what I mean? It's been awkward to watch, but he definitely has been doing better in like recent interviews in regards to supporting her. So she goes to therapy. This therapist, we've seen this therapist before, right? Do you guys remember? I feel like we've seen this therapist before. I can't remember where I've seen this therapist before, but I'm like, I've seen this therapist. So anyway, so she's been very open about going to therapy, and she talked about how long they've been going to this Dr. Wendy since 2017. They've been going to them individually, together. They've been going to see her. So she sits down with Dr. Wendy to talk about the stresses that she's been going through with the houses and how the houses not selling has put a strain on her relationship with Charles because he keeps investing into this. People don't talk enough about this. People talk about infidelity. They talk about sex when it comes to marriages. They don't talk about how the number one issue in marriages is finances. So I'm not surprised that he's invested with her in these properties. And real estate is not a bad investment. However, if they're not selling, it does become a bad investment. So they've invested a lot of money into these properties, but I have to say she's been very smart about coming on the show and sharing these properties, multiple properties we've seen on this show where there are tons of eyes on it. But we find out at the end they've sold at least 3, and then 2 they sold it. I guess they had to what? They had to sell it, or is it still available? I don't know. Nisa says she doesn't remember there. I remember seeing the therapist somewhere. I don't remember where. But I watch so much reality television, it's hard. Okay. Anyway, so she talks about that. She then talks about, again, and Marcus is so happy. If you were here with us, I think it Friday? We went live, guys. We went live Friday here on YouTube. And we were talking about the discrepancies in regards to what Marcus has been saying on his podcast. You don't have to listen to it. You can go listen to my version of it because I play for you the clips that you need to hear. All right. And Patrick Mommy says the therapist was on Love and Marriage. Was she? Okay. I know I've seen her before. I feel like I've definitely seen her before. And usually that's what happens. There aren't a lot of therapists that are willing to go on reality television. There's like a handful. And a lot of times I look at them with the side eye, but I really do feel like she was giving good advice to Angela. However, I do feel like she broke, not HIPAA, but she broke. But here's the thing. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Because for her to film a therapy session, they've signed off on that. But I felt like she exposed something about Charles's session in this conversation, which technically you can finagle on a technicality that she signed off on the therapist talking about her relationship with Charles and things like that. But did you guys catch that Dr. Wendy kind of revealed something that happened that was revealed in Charles's session with her, I was just like, wait a minute. And you saw immediately Angela try to like, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I was like, wait a minute. What? Go back and watch it. Some of you might have missed that part. Okay. Hold on. Miss Keita says, I love Angela. She's been constant in keeping it real. I will say that. I have to say, for the most part, I'm not saying that everything that Angela has told us has been 100%, but I definitely feel like in comparison to the rest of the women on this cast, she's probably been the realist. All right. So she talks about the issues with the property and how that's affecting her marriage. She talks about Marcus and bringing up cheating allegations at this event. And Angela says that she's come out on the show talking about how Charles has cheated in the past. We already know that. That might have gone over people's head, but no, Angela already told us on the show that Charles had cheated early on in their relationship, especially during the time when the whole Madison Square Garden issue came up. So she said that he wanted to feel like the man, so that's when he had cheated on her early on in their relationship. So she says that Charles, since then, time and time again, has proven that she can trust him. This is what she says. I don't know how, but she said that time and time again, Charles has proven to her that she can trust him. Okay? But then Dr. Wendy brings up that Charles wakes up in the middle of the night and says, I feel targeted. Because remember what happened with the Madison Square Garden where he was thrown out. Remember, he played at Madison Square Garden for years. He's a legend in basketball. To be thrown out of this place, embarrassed that way, really played on his mental. So Dr. Wendy kind of slips that in there, and you see Angela really try to switch it up. She's like, oh, I don't. She gets really emotional. She's like, I don't want to talk about that. Because literally what she was talking about was something that I think Charles may have said maybe in their couple session or in his own session, because he also has one-on-ones with Dr. Wendy as well. But she reveals, Dr. Wendy, that he wakes up in the middle of the night and says, I feel targeted. So that really messed with him. I'm going to give him some grace. Look, I'm going to give Charles some grace. I can imagine when you're this big icon, and then to be embarrassed in that way, in such a big way, and then to be banned from Madison Square Garden. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. A place that you helped build. Let's be honest, when you think about it. All right, so she has a therapy session, and she tells Dr. Wendy what she plans to do. She plans to confront the people that were behind this guy, Marcus. Okay, Marcus is so happy right now. That's the thing with people that are unhinged and thirsty. They don't care how you're mentioning them. It's the fact that you're mentioning them. Oh, Mark, I'm just going to call you Thirst Bucket. We're not going to call you by name. We're going to call you Thirst Bucket. Okay? We're going to call you Thirst Bucket. Lord have mercy, or Thirsty. Lord. So, all right, before we go to Shamea's showcase, I have never seen a showcase like this, but I will give it to her that she really went all out in regards to... Did you guys see Shamea's new music video? Just go watch it. I'm not saying... I actually like the song. The song, Never Had... It grew on me. I think Shamea has a nice voice. I definitely think... I didn't like the constant shade towards Drew, so I don't mind Drew whacking her several times during this episode in regards to her singing. I know a lot of people were like, Drew, why are you talking about people? Blah, 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 blah. Your music ain't that good. Blah, blah, blah. Stop. Because we already saw how many times that Shamea from episode 1 has been coming for Drew and then started talking about Drew's music. And Drew's music actually is good. And Drew can actually sing. I think they both can sing. There's space for both of you. Okay? But why did it take you so long to actually put out a music video? We've been talking about the song Never Had since episode 1. It's episode 17. Why are we... I don't understand. But I appreciate the venue. I appreciate the theatrics that she did. We'll get to it in a second. Edward, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Edward says, I give the entire season a solid 6. I think that's fair, Edward. I agree with you. How would you guys rate the entire season? Because, again, I'm grading it on a curve, though. This 6 I'm giving is on a curve. What about you, Edward? I'm giving it a curve because we were just talking about Real Housewives of New York. Real Housewives of New York was a solid 3. out of 10. So I have to grade Atlanta on a curve. Will I go back and watch this season of Atlanta? No. Would I recommend anyone that is like, Kempire, should I watch this season of Atlanta? I wouldn't. I wouldn't be like, no. I wouldn't recommend. If there's so many other things for you to watch on television, I'm not going to tell you to go back and watch it. And this is for those that were asking, oh, Kempire, have you even done Watch What Happens Live? This is why, because Andy's going to ask me, how was the season of Real Housewives of Atlanta? And I'm going to be like, mid. Mid. Pilar Patrick, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. And thank you so much for the super sticker, Pilar. Thank you. We appreciate your support. Guys, you can also support just by liking today's video. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Rashawn, thank you so much for the super chat. Rashawn says, why is Drew's song Chicago Slide nowhere to be found? That's my favorite. It's not even on her album anymore. Really? Did they get sued for something? I don't know. I haven't checked. I haven't listened to the album today. Oh my God, real? That's a good song. It's a good album, I mean, even regardless with or without that song. But Rashawn, I didn't know. Can someone go check right now? Oh, maybe there was an issue with the people that did the music. I don't know. Thank you, Rashawn. I don't know. That's weird. Since it's not even on her album anymore. Maybe they got challenged. Maybe they're being sued. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just saying for a song to be removed after being released. Pilar, thank you so much for another super chat. Pilar says, not me feeling absolutely rested and someone tells me I look tired. Right? It gives negative energy shift. It's best to not comment on people's appearances unless it's a compliment. You look great, Kempire. Thank you, Pilar. You said it so perfectly. And I know the person that said it in the chat, look, we're not coming down on you, but maybe this is a signal to you next time not to say that to someone. Because for all you think, I was probably walking in here feeling good about myself. And all of a sudden, and maybe you really came from a place of feeling concerned, but you could have sent a DM. Right, thank you so much. And honestly, look, at the end of the day, I don't rely on the compliments of others, both good or bad, in order to determine how I feel about myself. But I noticed that that's really especially with I think Black people, but also with I'm sure other people of color have family members and friends that do the same thing. Daylin, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. Daylin says Marcus tumbled on business. Love, Angela. Oh, Lord. Thank you so much, Dr. Courtney, for the super chat. Dr. Courtney says, happy Pride. I missed a few lives. Love your mission. Hope you reached your goals. Thank you so much, Dr. Courtney. Yes, guys, don't forget, today is the last day of Pride. Mods, can you let me know where we are in regards to our fundraiser goal? You can check any of our last videos. You can donate there in regards to helping us reach our goal. You know my real goal for the YouTube giving fundraiser for Pride Month was $5,000. We are very close to that. So if you haven't already, be sure to donate. I'm going to really hammer it hard today. So if you guys can, please, please, please donate. Help us get to our $5,000 goal. 100% of your donation goes to the organization. This is already a record fundraising month for our Pride Month fundraisers that we've been doing for like 5 years now. So if you haven't already, be sure to donate. So thank you, Dr. Courtney. I appreciate it. All right. And thank you to everyone that's already donated. We appreciate it as well, or has shared our videos for people to donate. Tyrese, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Tyrese says, "Hi Kim. I think it was Kim Z's therapist. Was it? It could have been. It could have been. I saw Adriana on Adriana. Is it Adriana? Ariana. There we go. Can't keep with all the A's. I saw her on with Phaedra last night on Watch What Happens. I like her. I did watch the first 2 episodes of Next Gen. I'm still not a fan of the show, but I actually like her on the show and Riley and their friendship. Queen K, thank you so much for the super chat. Queen K says, thirsty. we're not gonna even say his name anymore. Queen says, thirsty is beyond thirsty. Call him desiccated. Damn. Yeah, and then now he's trying to change up his story on social media, saying now it's not Phaedra. So what is it? Like, you're not a reliable reporter. You decided to get on camera and say that it was Phaedra, and now you're saying that it's not Phaedra. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It does not make any sense to me, but okay. All right, let's move on. Let me get back to this. So Shamea has her showcase where she's performing some of her songs that she's been working on with RL from Next. So for those that did not realize, the guy behind the scenes was B Flat, the producer, and RL from the group Next. All right, so he's always been behind the scenes writing songs for some of your favorite artists as well. And I have to say, the songs are good. Here's the thing with Shamea, and I've said this before, and I mean this in a constructive way. Oh, all right. Tasman says, hold on. Tasman says, thank you for being a member, Tasman. Tasman says, Kemp, Chicago Slide is still on the album on Tidal. So maybe there's something on Apple Music, maybe? I don't know. I haven't checked, and I don't have it in front of me. Oh, wait, I can check on here. Hold on, please hold. Not that it's that important, but, we're live. Let me see. Let me see if I can find Drew Sidora. Let me see. Because I do like that song. Let me see. Drew Sidora. Let me see the album. Chicago Slide is still on my Apple Music, so I don't know. I don't know why. See, this is why you can't go by what people say in the chat. You got to go do your own research. Chicago Slide is still on song. See, I had moved on. Oh, maybe she's getting sued. It's still on the album. Okay. Come on, hold on. Chanel says, Drew has a whole album while Shamea only has 2 songs after a year. Everyone moves a little differently. I will say this. We didn't even know Shamea was going to have this a part of her storyline, that she was going to be doing music. Usually, production would shy away from having 2 housewives have the same sort of storyline. And I was actually surprised. I feel like the showcase, the format of it, and the setup was nice, okay? I'm at Work says Chicago Slide is on the album on Spotify too. See, stop spreading fake news. Look, fake news. So anyway, so Chicago Slide is still on her album, which is a great sound. And slide. And then my song, You Must Be Delusion. Drew, if you want to come and perform at our show on August 5th, come through, girl. I'm not paying you though. No, I'm not paying you. I'm already telling you, I'm not paying you. Because I don't want this to be part of your storyline. I did a show and he didn't pay me. I'm telling you straight up, I'm not paying you. I don't get paid enough from this show in order to pay you too. Sorry. Oop. Nope. It'll be free promo. You can come out and do a 1-2 step. Not you, Shamea. No, Shamea, if you want to come and perform your song too. Because I think Shamea really had. First of all, I did not expect that for her showcase, because I've never seen a showcase where it's all like costume changes, and then I didn't expect that. I would have preferred her saying that she was going to do an actual show. Then to me, all the costume changes and all the theatrics and having someone host it would have made more sense to me. But it's fine. I much rather you give us above board as opposed to like low budget. You know what I mean? I will say though, the outfits and some of the live singing that they played, and then they would play like the pre-recorded, like the recorded version over it. I was sort of like, okay, why are they not playing the actual? And here's the thing. She said she hasn't hit the stage in 20 years. The vocals weren't that great, but I don't think that makes Shamea a bad singer. There are a lot of well-known singers that are very famous that are not the greatest live. However, I've already told you this. I feel like the part of the reason why Shamea has not had a huge career in music is not because she doesn't have the ability to sing and she's not a good singer. I think she lacks the confidence and the it factor. And we saw that with this season when it comes to just her performing as a housewife. I think it's that element. All right. You know what Belicious says? Drew is singing at barbecue functions all around Alabama, so she should be honored to sing at your event. Your event. I see what you did there with the extra E. At your event. Leave Drew alone. I'd be honored if she wanted to come and perform. Let me ask Dennis. He follows me. Dennis, we're not paying her though. She could come perform and, perform for the kids. Honestly, I don't want any. The reason why we haven't been doing like special guests or interviews with the housewives at our live shows is because I really want that time to be with us. I want us to talk. You remember when Stacey came to our DC show? That was cute and we had a good time, but then that interfered with our time together and spilling the tea and asking questions. And like these live shows are about us. It's not about these housewives. We talk about them there, but we also talk about Diddy. We talk about Tyler Perry. We're going to be talking about a lot of other stuff. I don't need them interfering with our time. And then we have our meet and greets. Like that interrupts our time together. So that's part of the reason, when we had Summer House Martha's Vineyard, folks, we had a great time, but that interrupts our time together. Just saying. Okay, we love them, but we need more time together. All right? Theo says Stacey was a mess. Should I invite her to the DC show? Okay. Thank you, Nelly. Nelly, thank you. Kay, thank you. Shout out to our members. We appreciate you guys as well. All right. Funky says TheKempire, get Dennis to come on instead. Okay. All right, let me move on because we've already digressed. All right, so Shamea does her performance. Drew has her commentary. I'm okay with Drew having commentary on Shamea's performance, especially when they play. And I saw some of the live footage, the unedited version. Yeah, she didn't sound the greatest. Okay, Shamea didn't sound the greatest, but I still think Shamea has talent. But all that twerking and all those theatrics, I think she does a little too much, which makes people go like, like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Shamea? But fine, all right. So Shamea says she hasn't hit the stage in 20 years. There's sort of like you hear some of the live vocals and then production adds some of the pre-recorded or recorded versions over her vocals. I have to give it to production, though, and the network. They really did give them an opportunity to promote their businesses and their music and things like that. They don't have to. So it's a great opportunity for them to promote stuff. But again, why do we have to wait until the season finale to finally get a showcase? And wasn't Drew supposed to have a showcase? We never got to see that. We never even got a finalization of Drew and her music. I guess we kind of did. She signed her record deal. She's been working on the album. She was supposed to have a showcase. I don't know why we never got that. I don't know what Drew's relationship is with the network. It feels a little funny. But okay. So what else happened at this event? So all the women arrived to, first of all, I was so distracted by Cynthia Bailey's suit. Did you guys see Cynthia Bailey's suit? She looked great. I was like, look at Cynthia Bailey in that suit. That little suit that she had on. I thought she looked really cute. So all the ladies arrive. Brit arrives, but she's still not talking to Kelly. So they have an awkward non-exchange. Okay. Brit says that Shamea, as you know, she also provides commentary after all of the performance. And she's like, I give her an E for effort. And she says the vocals were good, but the performance needed work. Brit, we have yet to see what your talents are. So you, of all people, can't talk about anyone getting on stage and performing or doing something. You've been lackluster throughout the season. Every event that you've thrown, one, has been eh. So, again, these housewives get in their confessionals. Production wants them to be shady. So I think that she's like, I give her an E for effort. Okay. Girl. Fine. Angela reminds the ladies that she's inviting them to her charity gala, which leads to Brit and Kelly getting into it because Kelly is like, oh, I have like 150K followers. And Drew sort of like, oh, 150K. And then Brit's just like, yeah, you went, it's a bunch of fake followers. Because apparently Kelly got like 80,000 new followers in a day. And she's like, I'm so glad that you're checking my follower count, stalker. Here's the thing. There are a lot of housewives with fake followers. I can't believe that in 2025 people are still doing that. Because people can tell, Kelly, if that is the truth based off of how many likes and comments you end up getting. But okay. So, They have their little back and forth because, they're not in the best place, okay? So Shamea and Brit end up having a side conversation. I thought the side conversation was interesting because there was a lot of stuff going back and forth. Because you remember, Shamea did an interview with Entertainment Tonight and said that Brit talked about her sick daughter, Shiloh. And remember, all of us were like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. Here's the thing, though, y'all. And I hate when housewives do this because I feel like this is so irresponsible. She didn't talk about Shiloh. She referred to Shiloh because of what went down in Grenada. She was talking about you, though, Shamea. And I hate the fact that you sort of put it out there like she was talking about your sick daughter. And she was really talking about you going off to Miami after crying about Shiloh being sick. And then you went to Miami. Remember, we talked about this with Mia. Remember Mia and that whole situation with her kids, and when they were on a group trip, and instead of going straight home to the kids, she went to Atlanta. So Brit accused Shamea of doing the same thing. And then, of course, Shamea was just like, okay, you pill pop. They love to come at Brit about the pill popping now and her being a hoe. Who is this hoe? Kind of thing. And I'm not a Brit stan because she's been lackluster for the most part this season. Brit, you should have just came back. You should have went to the reunion. You probably would have come back this season if you had come to the reunion. The fact that you sort of like punked out and didn't come to the reunion, I think that was a poor choice. Because I think if you had came to the reunion and really just went for them, I think you would have been fine. I think your reunion probably could have saved your job for the most part. Even though you had a very lackluster season, I think you could have saved your job. Because I don't feel like anything that happened, even at the end during the finale, warranted you not coming back or not holding, you know what I mean? So we see in this conversation between Brit and Shamea that Brit brings up the fact, because they're already going back and forth, because Shamea confronts, because Cynthia, being the bone collector, told Shamea what went down at, was it Brit's house in regards to Brit bringing up the conversation that she had with Shamea and Kelly about text messages that Shamea has shown. I believe Shamea did show Brit and Kelly text messages. I do believe that Shamea has not been 100%. I do believe that Shamea, the way she presents to the world, is not 100% true. I really do. And I do believe, because even Porsha was sort of like, yeah, the text messages that she's talking about was actually from my therapist. So I feel like what Brit said was very specific enough for Porsha to be like, oh, yeah, that is a text message that I had with Shamea. So I do believe that Shamea is not who she presents to be on the show. So anyway, so they have this back and forth about what Brit said to Porsha. And Brit's just like, well, you did say it. You did show me and Kelly those text messages. You did. You did say it. And then they start sparring back and forth. And that's when Brit brings up, like, well, let's talk about how how you went to Miami and you gave this big performance in Grenada about Shiloh and blah 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 blah. And like I said to you before, the way that Shamea framed it on Entertainment Tonight, I really thought that Brit had said something horrific about Shiloh. So I was ready to fight on Shiloh's behalf. Anyone else? Didn't you think that she talked about that baby? No, what she said was, and look, some people might say, well, she's still technically talking about the child. She's not talking about the child's character. She's not talking about the child being sick. She's talking about Shamea going off to Miami after crying, saying that, you know, she hates being away when Shiloh is sick and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, not Brit being redeemed. You should have came to the reunion, Brit. I mean, I still think you were lackluster this season. You should have came to the reunion. And I hate the fact that Shamea, but that made me look at Shamea sideways, because you took a speck of information and tried to twist it and make it seem like she talked about your sickly child. I don't like that. I think that was really irresponsible, because something like that, saying that in an interview, could have, and I'm sure people were in Brit's comment section, how dare you talk about a sick child? But when you see what was said, you're like, wait a minute. She wasn't talking about your child. Yes, she referenced your child and what happened in Grenada, but she wasn't talking about the child. She was talking about you as a mother, which I don't like. I never like talking about people's parenting, but she points out like, well, you said this, you hate being away from your child, but then instead of going from Grenada, you went to Miami. Come on, let's call a thing a thing. Which again says to me, Shamea, you're not who you say you are. So I do believe that you actually did show Kelly and Brit those text messages. Because remember, you were turning up with them. And Porsha said on her YouTube channel, when you guys started filming, you guys weren't in communication that much. So you and Porsha were not in a great space while filming, despite how you guys were trying to play it up on camera. So I do believe, because you were hanging out with Kelly and Brit, you were talking about your friendship. Because this is the second time this season where a separate group of people are saying that you're saying things about Porsha. Just saying. So, not Brit. Y'all think Brit has been vindicated? Has Brit been vindicated? At least with this. Come on. With this, she's been vindicated. Okay? But yeah, I was like, Shamea, you really just exaggerated what happened. You really exaggerated it. Because anyone else, and you, for those that are going to call in, let me know. Did y'all think when Shamea said on Entertainment Tonight, but I also think she said it on Watch What Happens Live, that she talked about Shiloh? I was like, what did Brit say about a child? How dare she talk about a child? And I'm sure a lot of y'all were probably in Brit's comments right after that. I'm sure everyone was like, how could you talk about a child that's sick? How could you? You are the worst of the worst. That was really irresponsible, Shamea. Because she did not talk about Shiloh. She talked about you being a mother. And I don't like that either. But y'all are going, you calling her a pill popper, da-da-da. Oh, exactly. Okay, hold on. Where's the comment? Oh, damn, I lost it. Oh, wait. Miss Keita says, with this, she's been vindicated. But she still lied on Kenya, which I agree. She had a whole reach with Kenya, with the whole Brit of it all. She had a whole reach with that. And Brit has lied. Everyone on this season has lied. I will say that. I will say that. Oh, Ali says, and Shamea hinted it again on YouTube. Wow. Shamea, that's irresponsible. And based on what we've seen, and a lot of people have said this already, the fact that she's been friends with Porsha this long says to you a little bit about who she is as a person as well. Kens, you know what? You ain't gonna come in here, Kens, and start shading Tauruses. Ken says, no shade. Taurus be manipulative AF. You know what? Banner mods. I'm playing. I'm kidding. Mods, I'm kidding. Oh, which is possible, Brooklyn. Brooklyn says Kempire Brit probably said worse, but production probably didn't want to show it. Apparently, Brit used the R word. Did Shamea say that? I don't know. But we shall see. I'm sure Shamea will come out and do an interview and talk about it. But based on what we've seen on the show, that's all she said. But okay, fine. But again, I don't know with this editing, because they showed a lot in regards to Brit and the pistols of it all. I'm like, I don't know. Patricia says Shamea is just like Porsha. All right, wait, we have quite a few super chats. If you're a member of the channel, I will drop the call link on the community tab, so be sure to check that out. Team Kempire members, I'll drop it for you in a few, but if you're Royal Court members, I think it should have dropped already for our Royal Court members and Team Kempire members on the post tab. Eavesdropper, thank you so much for the super chat. Eavesdropper says, I watched Phaedra on Watch What Happens Live. I'm sick of blonde wigs on Black Housewives. I'm wondering why that's a thing. I will say this, for as legendary as Phaedra's reads have been over the years, her on Watch What Happens Live, I feel like there have been newbies that were far more entertaining. Did anyone else sort of watch it and I'm like, Phaedra's kind of boring on Watch What Happens Live? I don't... Insurance fraud ho. Thank you for the super chat. says it's rude comment. Wait, it's rude to comment negativity on a person's looks. Now, come on now. Oh, y'all talking about me? When someone had a comment about me, insurance fraud hoe. Dalen, thank you for another super chat. Dalen says, in my opinion, Shamea did that big production to disguise her rough vocals. No shade. A for effort, room for growth. Yeah, because production really did put the recorded version over her live vocals. So they were definitely trying to save her, because I would have been okay if she just did like 2 songs and she didn't do all these outfit changes. She was too worried about the aesthetic of it all instead of worrying about the actual vocals of it all. Amber, thank you so much for the super chat. Amber says, Shamea reminds me of something Dolly Parton once said. It takes a lot of money to look this cheap. Look at my shirt. Dolly. That's so funny you bring up Dolly Parton. My Dolly shirt is on. It takes a lot of money to look this cheap. I love me some Dolly Parton. Pretty Brown Skin, thank you so much for the super chat. Pretty Brown says, Shamea and Brit drive me nuts equally for different reasons. I can 100% agree with this comment. Like, both of them were not that great. And for everyone that was bigging up Shamea this season, y'all were bigging her up for that one episode, and she's been lackluster ever since. But I called it from episode 1. I was like, let's wait. Rashawn, thank you so much for the super chat. Rashawn says, I use YouTube Music and it's not on there. Oh, Rashawn, okay. I did find it on Spotify and Apple Music. Sorry for the scare. I don't know why it wouldn't be on YouTube Music. That's weird, but yeah. Maybe they didn't pay for it there. They probably use the service that only puts it out to certain music outlets. So maybe that's what it was. Who knows? RC, thank you so much for the super chat and for being a member. RC says, what Shamea said about Brit going unclothed after taking a shot is true. They showed the full footage overseas. Brit stripped on camera and shocked everyone. Okay, but that's not anything about the kids. So, but okay. I don't know. And this is why I always tell you guys, for those that get so impassioned and angry at certain housewives or reality TV stars, I always remind you, context matters. And when you're watching an edited show, it will change your opinion on a situation if you find out the full details. There's been so many examples of that over the years. That's why when people blame editing, we can't be like, oh, you can't blame editing. No, you can, because they can literally alter what you said from one particular scene that you filmed from last season and use it this season, or earlier in the season, or in another scene. They can literally alter that. It's in their contracts. So this is important for us to remember when we're talking about an edited show. All right, let me move on, because we had that fight between Shamea and Brit. They're exchanging all kinds of blows. Shamea brings up the pill popping after Brit talks about her popping bottles in Miami and bringing up that she wasn't there for the child and blah blah blah. All right, so they go for, honestly, I was so distracted last night watching it originally, so I'm glad I watched it again today. I was so distracted by the grills and the sunglasses that Shamea had on, I completely missed some of the things that were said in this conversation. Shamea is so tacky. I can't. Even though she had probably the best reunion look, for the most part, her fashion this season and for that showcase were so terrible. And I'm not a fashionista, but damn. There were so, like, between the outfit she had on, she was arguing with Brit. I'm like, I'm so distracted between the grills and the sunglasses. I'm like, okay. But Gerald was there for that. He's not there for the reunion, but he wasn't there for the gala. So what was the excuse that didn't make you a housewife years ago, Shamea? What was the excuse? He didn't want to film? He barely filmed this year. Barely. We saw him more in the phone than in an actual scene. And I get it. I appreciate him not being one of those husbands that wants to be on television like Ralph. We'll get to Ralph in 2 seconds flat. Hold on, y'all. So Britt and Mike go shopping for a private jet. This is the second time we've seen them go shopping for something that they end up not buying. This is why I feel like her trying to sue the network and why she decided not to come back. Because remember, they're not getting paid a lot. She's a newbie on this show. She's not getting paid $1 million, $2 million to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's probably getting $150,000 for the entire season. All right. The new housewives are not making what a Porsha or a Candy are making, or even what a Phaedra is probably making. I don't think Phaedra's making $1 million, but so her shopping for this private jet, I feel like they just did that for the cameras. But her bringing up baby oil, I was like, oh, what in the Diddy? No Diddy. Then we have this scene with Kelly at home with her kids. Again, they're trying to finalize everything. They're trying to wrap everything up. They're trying to give us an update on Kelly's divorce and what Kelly's doing with that other location that we saw early in the season. As you know, Kelly is being sued by the landlord. I think it's for this location, or maybe it's another location. I think it's this location. I can't remember because we did a video talking about her being sued by the landlord for unpaid rent. Okay? We already said Kelly and her money situation seems a little sus. I don't know what it is. I don't have any hard facts besides the lawsuit. Something about her money situation seems a little sus. Okay? But she says that she doesn't want to move forward, or she can't move forward yet with the Sandy Springs location because she's in the middle of the divorce and because of their shared assets, and she doesn't want this, I guess, to fall under that. But again, I don't know Georgia law, but I know in certain states, the minute you file for divorce, anything that you do from that point on, from that date on, is not a marital asset. But again, maybe she had started that while they were still, before she filed for divorce. I don't know. But she said right now she doesn't want to finalize what's happening there until she finalizes her divorce. But you literally bought this location already. You already started renovating it. So I feel like if it was going to be a part of the marriage, it technically already is. But okay, fine. Fine. So she talks about that. She's at home with her kids. Okay, fine. Cute scene. But I'm okay with Kelly coming back next season. I feel like Kelly, if anything, gave us the most events. And I have to say, when she threw events, she actually threw an event. Nobody walked away being hungry.
Fuck your flowers.
Oh, damn. Okay, Candy. The way that they keep bringing Candy up, they're bringing her up during the reunion. They brought up Aunt Bertha in this episode. Lord. I'm like, okay, fine. Just keep bringing. Y'all always want to say Candy's not that girl, but they keep bringing her up. All right. Speaking of thirsty husbands, Ralph. So Ralph calls Drew to see if he can come upstairs from the basement. So I told you this during the season. I still feel like Ralph and Drew are in on it and they're playing in our faces. And maybe production, and that's why production and the network are treating Drew the way they're treating her, because maybe they also feel like Drew's playing in our faces when it comes to this divorce with Ralph. And I'm not saying that two people can't finally say, you know what, we're gonna put the fighting stuff down and we're gonna try and make this work. Fine. So Ralph comes upstairs. Of course, they segue like this is a damn the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because the way they show that house and he's playing the piano. I'm like, who's playing the piano? Ralph is sitting at the piano playing the piano, of course, just for the cameras. Just for the Ralph is so thirsty. If we want to talk about thirst buckets, Ralph is so thirsty. So they segue into the scene. He's playing the piano. She's like, oh, you miss the piano, don't you? He's like, yeah, I do. So they talk about the arrangement. He's like, we have these court orders, so there's certain things that I can't do. And she's like, but if you want to be with your kids, we can communicate that. We are, I forgot her actual language. But here's what I got from this scene with Drew. It was a small, short scene with Drew and Ralph. And they probably agreed to do this because this was sort of finalizing Drew's storyline of her divorce from Ralph. The kids are not home. The kids are in Chicago because she wants to be able to hash out this divorce battle with Ralph. As you know, since this scene, Ralph has been dragging Drew on social media, even before this scene. So they sit down to have a sweet conversation. It seems as if all is good between Ralph and Drew, until I guess it wasn't. I don't know if I 100% believe that Drew and Ralph are at odds the way that they pretended on the show this season or on social media. I still do not trust Ralph. And I think Ralph being at the reunion and saying all the stuff, crashing out on social media, for someone that has all these other businesses and money and talents and things like that, you could never tell because he's so focused on being on this reality show versus finalizing this divorce and getting from outside of the basement. I don't know what it is, but what it's giving is that they're both are producing or pre-producing. And that felt like a pre-produced scene. But okay. We talked about this endlessly during the season. The Canadian POV says Ralph really is, and it's embarrassing. Jay says it did feel scripted, like a Tubi script. You also, when Shamea tried to shade Drew later on in the episode, talking about when they were talking about Junebug and everything, like she's like, this feels like something that Drew orchestrated, but she acts in it. Tubi, like, girl, you'd be lucky to get a Tubi script, Shamea. I don't understand. Look, Drew's not my favorite person, but I don't understand how everyone this season has been coming for Drew. I have to say, this was probably Drew's best season since being on Real Housewives of Atlanta. From her fashion to the way that she was able to react to everyone that was coming for her from every direction. I think the only thing that Drew lacked was this whole situation with Ralph. Cameron says Drew doesn't say too much on the internet. I agree. I mean, that if anything, that's been her best effort. But some of the stuff that she's been doing on the show, I haven't been loving. All right. I said last night on TikTok that I wasn't going to talk about the scene. So I'm just going to bring up the scene because it's such a non-scene. Phaedra and Check, whatever his name is. She's calling him Shishi. Okay? She's calling him Shishi on this. All right? So Shishi and Phaedra, because you know this is part of Phaedra's storyline. I will never understand why they made Phaedra a full-time housewife. I mean, kudos to Phaedra for negotiating a full-time contract by coming in at the end of the season. As you know, she's already told Entertainment Tonight that she's coming back. She's coming back next season. Probably because she literally started filming 10 days into this season. So this new contract probably secured her next season. Here's the thing, just because you have a contract doesn't mean that Bravo can't buy you out of your contract. But they probably were like, no, we're going to bring her back so she can actually work for the money. That way they don't have to find a new housewife and pay extra. So Phaedra and Chi in this scene. If you watched our Married to Medicine recaps, you know we never believed this relationship. Chi is actually good friends with Apollo. Like Apollo's kids call him Uncle Chi. This was such a weird scene. Phaedra's foundation being on the smack middle of his face was sending me. Them kissing was I don't need to see Phaedra kissing up on this man. Phaedra downplays the relationship because she knows that Chi-Chi's out in those Atlanta streets with a white woman. Look, that's what the Atlanta streets are saying. That he has another girlfriend. Apollo said on Married to Medicine, he's got a bunch of girlfriends. Apollo's wife said that. So this is why she's getting ahead of it and saying like, oh, it's nothing serious. I'm just having a good time. She says, when asked on Watch What Happens Live, was it Watch What Happens Live? I don't know. When asked about whether, it was in her confessional. When asked whether or not she would ever get married again, she says probably not. Well, the only reason why she had married the convict, come on. Am I lying? The only reason why she married him was because she was pregnant. Her first season, literally, that's why she had to lie about her timeline of birth. I think the only reason why she married him was because she was pregnant. I'm still trying to understand Apollo and this new kid that he's got and he's bringing out on social media. This kid is older than Aiden. Where was this kid? And remember, Apollo said that he found out about the kid in jail. He's been out of jail for years now. Why are we just seeing this kid now? Is that going to be his storyline for next season? Probably. Remember who said it? Call me Miss Cleo, okay? This will be Phaedra's storyline next season. Apollo will be there. I'm surprised we didn't see Apollo this season. Probably because she had the little falling out with him during the Married to Medicine. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Apollo next season and talking about the kid and all this other stuff. Mia Moore, I agree. Yes. The Phaedra not knowing her timeline, especially now they've done the babies version. She says that's still the most classic scene. But you know what? It's come to haunt us in regards to Phaedra being the worst liar on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Anyway, okay, so Phaedra and Chi had this scene, whatever. I'm not going to even spend time on it because it's not real. It's not a real relationship. It's not. The foundation's on his head. I don't even know if Chi likes... Never mind.
How you doing?
But that's me. That's me. Ooh. All right, guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget, I'm coming to Philadelphia, July 10th. Literally, tomorrow's July 1st. 9 days, guys, till I'm in Philadelphia at City Winery. Go get your tickets today. Meet and greets are also available for the Philadelphia show. Who's in Philly? Please understand, just because it's in Philly doesn't mean New York, that's only a train ride away. South Jersey, that's a car ride away. Come on, go get your tickets for our Philadelphia show. Please understand, we're going to be going in when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta. We'll be talking about Miami. We'll be talking about Tyler Perry. Ooh! We'll be talking about the Diddler, especially the Diddler, because this will be right after the verdict. I think the verdict will be coming out this week when it comes to Diddy, so we'll be talking about Diddy. So get your tickets today for our July 10th show in Philadelphia. But Atlanta, since we're talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, we'll still be talking about Atlanta when I come to Atlanta on August 5th. Then we'll be coming to D.C. for our very first summer show in D.C. on August 22nd. And then we're going to round out the summer by having our show here in New York City, September 12th at the Green Room 42. Meet and greets are available for all the shows, but our New York City show has a special live stream option. So even if you're coming to our Philly show, our Atlanta show, or our D.C. show, what I say in those cities won't be what I say come September 12th in New York City. So get your ticket for the live stream option as well. Ticket information will be available in the description. Speaking of in the description, you guys can also find out more about my skincare routine from our friends over at Butter. So I shared with you my morning skincare routine. Now I'm sharing my nighttime skincare routine, brought to you by our friends over at Butter. Over the last several weeks, we've partnered with Butter and I've been utilizing their skincare routine and I have been loving it. So let me share with you my nighttime skincare routine. It's very simple and it's made even simpler by our friends over at Butter. First, I start off with their cleanser. Wash your face with their cleanser. Then I use their silky soft towel, which I love. They're disposable. They are quality. You shouldn't be using the same towel that you use to dry your body on your face. And then I'm using their retinol. People don't understand the benefits of retinol. Smaller pores, youthful skin. A lot of people don't even utilize this. You should. All you need next is their Coco Shea moisturizer. As I've said before, they've made my routine a lot simpler because I've had to use a different morning moisturizer versus what I use at night. With their Coco Shea moisturizer, I can utilize it for my morning and my evening. I just put a little bit less on in the morning. At night, I put a little bit more. And that's it for my nighttime routine. One of the other big questions that people have asked me, is there a scent in the moisturizer? Very light scent. The other question people have asked me, is Butter Black owned? Not only is it Black owned, their president is a Black woman. But of course, you also ask, can we get a discount? Of course, get 10% off when you use my link, butterskin.com/Kempire. More information on Butter will be available in the description. Thanks, Butter. Guys, welcome back to the Kempire channel. Don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting the channel. Don't forget to also subscribe to the Kempire podcast. You can hear our live recaps and our Diddy updates along with extended versions, and our Club Kempire is also available on the podcast. Be sure to subscribe today, and don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I got my coldest water bottle. I think the coldest discount Kempire 10 still is working for 10% off, so be sure to check that out. at coldest.com. All right, shout out to everyone in the live chat. We appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget, we are also still raising money for the Center, an organization. It was Pride this weekend here in New York City. It's still Pride. Today's the last day of Pride. Don't forget, we are still raising money. We're almost at our $5,000 goal. Mods, I completely missed it. If you let me know how much we are in regards to our fundraiser, be sure to donate. You can check out any of our other videos to make a donation today. Hopefully by the end of this live, we can hit 5,000. Let me shame all of y'all. Who in the live chat donated to our fundraiser? 100% of your donation goes to the organization. Who in the live chat donated? Show yourself. I did. I'm going to donate again. Who donated? And how much did you donate? No, okay, you don't have to tell me how much, but raise your hand in the live chat. Put your hand emoji in the live chat if you donated to our fundraiser. And all you housewives that end up watching our recaps, you could donate too. You don't have to let me know. Okay? Let me know if you donated. Put it in, is right, Jabaki. Put it in the chat. Pageant Mommy, thank you for your donation. Sean R, thank you for your donation. Okay, I'm not seeing everybody in the chat. Ashley, thank you. Foxy, Foxy donated twice. And Forever Tyranny donated twice too. All right, Jesse donated. Nikki donated. Mods, let's call out the people that aren't saying anything, people that have gone quiet. Okay. Who donated? Jamie donated. If you're new here, we're shaming the people because you remember what Shamea did to Brit during the Grenada trip. Shamed them. So shame worked. Remember that right after that, we shamed a bunch of people. We raised like $600 in a live. Come on. It's Pride Month. Come on. Happy Pride. Ooh. Oh, Foxy donated 3 times. Thank you, Foxy. Happy Pride.
Good job, Gregory. You did a great job.
Christian says, I donated in spirit. Shame Christian. Look, shame Christian in the chat. I'm playing Christian. I understand not everyone can donate. But Christian, did you share my donation videos? Have you shared our videos with people? Please go donate. Who shared? All right. Sigrid says, I will drop off my tissue and light bulbs later. It goes back to what Britt did, okay? Britt, did you donate? I know you're watching. Britt, did you donate? Shamea, are you donating? Production, I know y'all are watching. Did y'all donate? All right. Don't forget, guys, you can donate. If you check any of our last videos, and if you're watching the replay of this, it'll be available along somewhere here. Go donate. Mods, wait, did y'all tell me? Let me go look. Let me go look at some of my other videos. And if you are a member of the channel, I just dropped the calling for all of you guys. Let me go check some of my own videos so I can see if y'all donated. Please hold. Let me see. Oh, we are so close, guys. We have raised so far. We only have 11 hours left. We've raised so far $4,872. All right, $4,872. We are literally a few hundred, not even a few, less than $200 away from reaching our goal of $5,000. Come on now. Thank you to everyone that's donated. Shame works. Shame works. Yes, Sharice. Sharice says, I donated and purchased my Kempire Pride hoodie. Thank you, Sharice. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Guys, we are so close to our goal. Remember, we set the goal at $3,000 for Pride Month, and we reached that last week. And since then, we're now at $4,872. Applause in the live chat. Thank you to everyone that donated. Thank you to everyone that donated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the math. Yes, we are $128 away. Come on. Keep donating, y'all. I think we could do this before the end of the live. We're going to do this before the end of the live. If all of us donated like $2, we could do this. Come on now. Go check out one of our last videos and you should be able to donate. Thank you to everyone that donated. Thank you. We only have 11 hours left in order before doing that. All right. Pageant Mommy says, yes, healthy shame is good for the soul. All right. Okay, let me just show you. I'm going to drop this in the chat. This video, because they don't give you a direct link to donate. So if you go to any of our videos, if you go to this video, I just posted in the live chat. If you go to that video, you can donate. It'll be along the side. If you're watching from your phone, it'll be on the below button. Okay. Thank you, Natasha. Natasha, she says she's about to donate. I'm gonna check back. Okay. All right. So back to this. We're not even done, guys. We still have a lot more to go. Okay. We still have a lot more to go in regards to this. Okay. So, okay. Brit at home with her family. So again, they're trying to finalize everything, guys. So we have to have this scene because you remember part of Brit's storyline was the issues with her family. Her sister actually comes over. The one sister that's been estranged from the other sisters comes over. She's living with her mom. Her mom's living with her now. So they all come over. I did find it interesting though that this was the first time that Brit's in-laws were meeting like her mom and her sisters. I thought that was interesting. Didn't y'all? I thought that was interesting, but things happened. Remember, they got married during the pandemic, and now they joked about having a baby, but they're like, no, we're gonna have our ceremony. I'm thinking they were probably trying to set us up for their storyline for next season. But y'all talked about this at the top of the season. We didn't have that. Did Brit throw an event? Oh, she did throw an event that she's being sued for now for not paying at the golf club. Okay. But yeah, fine. So we had that scene. It really wasn't anything worth it. Okay. Thank you, Greg, for donating. Greg says, thanks for the link. I donate. Thank you, Greg. We appreciate it. Let me refresh. Let me see where we're at now. Thanks to everyone that's been oh, guys, we are $10 away from hitting $5,000. Come on, wait. I got to play the song again. Happy Pride. Shout out to the center.
You did a great job.
Thank you, Kay. Kay says, I just donated donated $3. See, every little bit counts. If everyone donated like $1, we would have reached our goal a long time ago. We have over 500,000 people that follow us. Okay, we already have, we have 2,600 people on YouTube alone. Okay, so if everyone donated, we would definitely reach our goal. Okay, let me get back to this, guys. Oh, we hit $5,000. Come on, one more time. I'm doing a WAP. Remember the WAP? How you doing?
Good job, Gregory. You did a great job.
Kim B, thank you so much for the donation. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Over $5,000, 100% of your donation goes to the organization. As I said to you before, the LGBT Center here in New York City has been helping people for decades, and your donation is going to allow them to continue to help the community here in New York City. So thank you to everyone that has donated. Remember, I set the goal at 3,000. We hit 3,000 last week, and I said my real goal is 5,000. So next year, we're going to do bigger and better. So thank you to everyone that donated. Pinky, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you to everyone in the chat that donated. Thank you to everyone that donated already before this. Thank you to the people that will be donating in the replay of this, because we're going to make it available for you guys on this video as well to donate. Let's continue to donate what you can. As you know, with our current administration, there's a lot of federal funds that are being cut from organizations. All right, there are a lot of federal grants that are being cut. So thank you to everyone that has donated, and that will allow them to continue to do the work that they're doing. So thank you. We appreciate you guys. Melvin Magic says, Kemp, you can have him perform this at the Atlanta show. Okay. Right, Seven? Every time at the end, good job, Gregory. You did a great job at the end. I'm like, oh, God, this is such a sad situation, but it's all right. All right. Let me get to the end of this, guys. We haven't even talked about Angela's gala. I was just riding high off of us hitting our goal. So thank you to everyone that donated. So we have that scene with Brit and her family fine. They're finalizing the issues. I'm happy to see that Brit and her sisters are back to getting along. I did find it interesting that they said that Brit was starting a new insurance agency at the end of this episode. Okay, fine. So Angela and Charles's charity gala. So everyone's starting to arrive. Angela's not downstairs. Angela's on the phone with Drew because they are plotting to have Marcus, Thirst Bucket, come to the event and set the record straight. So they flash back to a scene with Thirst Bucket and another Thirst Bucket, and then Angela and Drew. I hate, and I get it, they wanted to get to the bottom of things. They wanted to have him say on camera that someone set this up. Someone definitely set this up. And I know some people will say it's production, and it could be production. I'm not saying that production's hands are clean because they decided to film this whole situation and include it on the show, okay? But I hate the fact that Drew and Angela sat down with these guys that clearly wanted to be on the show. They wanted desperately to be on the show. They started a podcast so that you could talk about this moment. But no, here's the thing. All of that thirsty behavior is not going to garner you a following. It's not. It's hard work and actually having personalities and content that people want to listen to. I'm giving you a little education, all right? I'm going to give you a little Kempire University. People you need to give them something of value that they will want to come back to. They might listen to your episodes now and understand one person needs to listen. They screen grab it and then they start sharing it. It's not going to garner you the following, the fame that you want, or the attention that you want, or to those charges, okay? Or the fact that you're on a list and you can't come near a school.
What is this, honey?
No. All right? Exactly. Jamie saying having Marcus pull this stunt cheapens the show. Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like that Angela and Drew met with him and filmed with him. I didn't love the fact whoever decided to bring this to Kelly's event. I really don't think Kelly did it. I'm not a huge Kelly fan, but I don't think Kelly did it. Based on what we've seen of Kelly this season, yes, she can be a flip-flopper, but I don't see her doing that at her event. And I know we talked about, literally, we saw what Kenya did at her own event. I think she learned from that not to do anything crazy messy at her own event, especially at William and Sonoma. Okay? So I don't think Kelly, when you think about what Kelly could lose, she has a relationship with William and Sonoma. I don't think she would set up a theatrics like this at her own event. I wouldn't think Kenya would have done that either. But I really don't think that Kelly would jeopardize a partnership with William and Sonoma for reality television. And based on what we've seen of Kelly this season, it doesn't track. What we know of Phaedra, it does track, so it makes her an easy target. But we have to also remember, Phaedra literally, during the event, told Angela, don't react to it, blah, 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 trying to cover herself. And then as soon as she left the event, cameras are following her to call Porsha while Portia's filming. So either production is behind this, or Phaedra and Porsha are behind this, or all three. K-Baby says, yeah, it probably wasn't Kelly. I just can't see Kelly doing, based on what we've seen of Kelly this season, I'm like, it doesn't necessarily track. I don't put anything past anyone. But then I think about the business side of it. She's had like a long relationship with William and Sonoma. And even after reality television, I don't think she wants to lose that relationship with them. And you see her reaction as soon as Messy Marcus is just like, and Angela, your husband's cheating on you. She's like, oh no, I'm not a part of this. And she even went to Angela. But like, I need you to know, I have nothing to do with this. So anyway, so before we even get to that, so everyone's arriving, all right? They flash back to that scene with Messy Marcus and the other guy. And that's where he says a bunch of nothing. And Angela says that she basically catches him in a lie because, and I don't understand how she's caught him in some sort of lie because he's talking about, yeah, I've seen Charles at my restaurant, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, yeah, that's impossible. What he's saying, he was coaching the big three. That's impossible. He was on television and things like that. I don't know how that all connects and how that proves anything on either side, but fine. So she calls him that. And then she says, can you tell me who told you to do this? And then he writes it on the phone and shows it to her. I don't know if he wrote Junebug, and I don't know if he wrote Phaedra. But fine. We will unpack that in a second. All right? So Angela starts her event. The Gala, remember, this is the same charity that Angela met Wendy Williams. So they've had this charity for a very long time. Okay? Since 2017, she mentions it. So everyone's arriving. Everyone looks great. No, not everyone looks great.
Whoa.
What in the hell was Shamea wearing? What was she wearing? And then she would put the hood on, take the hood off. No, take the whole thing off. Go home and reassess this outfit. This outfit was horrible. Horrible. She's been so tacky all season. Anyway. So, everyone's arriving. Everyone goes in. They're eating. They start the whole award ceremony. I will say this. I was taken aback when Angela honored Porsha at this event. I was like, we're honoring Porsha? But I will say this, because Porsha did talk about how Londi was very involved in her family's charity. And if you watch Porsha's Family of Lies, Porsha Family Matters, they did talk about the foundation. The foundation is still very much there and doing the work. I don't know how involved Porsha is, but I'm going to give Porsha grace. Just because we don't see Porsha talk about it on the show or them highlight it on the show doesn't mean that she hasn't or that she's not involved. Because we have to keep that in mind. Production and the network focuses on what they want to focus on. I did find it weird that we were honoring Porsha at this event, but because they were honoring not just Porsha, but Londi, who had passed away, and Londi was very much involved at the organization that her grandfather has. So her accepting the award for her and Londi, I was like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense. At first I was like, why is Porsha being honored at this event? So anyway, that's how I made sense of it in my head. Okay. All right. So they honor it. So Porsha gets really emotional because she just lost Londi. And she really hadn't filmed with the ladies since the loss. So this was like her first time meeting with everyone. So then, not the bodyguard fit with Shamea's outfit. One minute Shamea has the hood off. The next minute Shamea has the hood on. I was like, oh my gosh, Shamea, were you cold? All right. So Porsha gets emotional when going back to her seat. So she gets up and goes with Cynthia. That everyone goes to check on her. This is where Shamea starts talking about their friendship. She's like, she loves her friendship with Porsha. She doesn't want these women to get in between her friendship. This is sort of setting us up for what's happening between Shamea and Porsha, why they're sitting next to Andy at the reunion. But based off how the season ended, does it make sense that Shamea and Porsha are sitting next to Andy? It still doesn't make sense to me. You end the season with Angela. Angela has become a fan favorite. They're coming for you next season, Angela. Please understand that. They're coming for you. It's just how it is on these petty shows. The fact that Angela became such a focal point. Angela and Drew should have been sitting next to Andy. If anything, Angela should have sat next to Andy or Drew or vice versa. But they should sit next to each other. And I understand maybe Porsha sitting there because Porsha was like the big return, and I can see Phaedra sitting next to them. It still doesn't make sense to me. This casting, this seating chart doesn't make sense to me. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean buku dog, but it doesn't make sense to me, especially with the way that the season ended. Yes, they alluded to an issue happening between Porsha and Shamea, but they never talked about it at the end. They never talked about it. So that being the big issue, I don't know. I definitely think that Angela should have been sitting next to Andy in regards to this. Next to Angela should have been Drew. Then Kelly should have been sitting next to Drew. And then on the other side, I think they could have kept it the way that they kept it. Yeah, they could have kept it the way that they kept it. Now, if Brit and Kenya were there, I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know if I would have put Kenya maybe necessarily next to Andy. I don't know what this chart would have looked like if Brit and Kenya were there. I don't know. I already, based on what we've seen in regards to this season, it already tells me that it was going to be a lackluster season because they kept the Kenya in of it all. They had to bring in Phaedra 10 days at the end of production. Weird. Kathy, thank you so much for donating. We appreciate your support. Shout out to everyone that donated. We are over our goal, but that doesn't mean we can stop fundraising. We still have 11 hours to continue fundraising. We have already over $5,226 raised for the Center Organization for our Pride Month fundraiser. Thank you. But anyway, okay. Let me get back to this. So we have that everyone goes to console Porsha, all right? Brit does a lot. I don't know why Brit was all up in Porsha's, like, just doing the most, but fine, whatever. She was trying to be supportive of Porsha in that moment, okay? Let me move this over here. What else happened in this moment that I wanted to talk about? They did raise over $107,000. So congratulations to Angela and the organization. They did raise over $107,000. All right, so Angela, because she's a producer, wants to have this moment because they find out that Messy Marcus is there. So she brings the ladies out of the event and she sits them down to let them know that she's been doing her research on who was involved. So they're all sitting waiting, and then she brings up, well, this happened at Kelly's event. So she hasn't really vindicated Kelly. So Kelly's like, you think I had something to do with this? Honestly, I don't think Kelly had anything to do with it. Then Angela turns her eyes to Brit. Because remember, she's had issues with all of them during the season. But by this point in the season, I felt like we're done. We don't have any issue. Again, we're watching an edited show. Could there have been other things that were edited out that happened between Brit and Angela or Angela and Kelly? Could have been. But I would have to ask someone, was there more that they left out? If they didn't leave anything out, it doesn't make sense why Brit or Kelly would do that to Angela at Kelly's event. Not saying that they're incapable. Not saying that. But we also know who is very capable, who's been accused of this before, who's been benched because of accusations like this. Literally, this is what Andy Cohen said. He confirmed yesterday that Phaedra was benched because of what she did on the show. I think that was the first time that they ever confirmed it, right? It might be the first time, but he said it in front of her, and she was like, well, yeah, and she said, because she was trying to say that she's prospered since leaving the show. Did she? Was Phaedra prospering since she left Real Housewives of Atlanta? I don't know. Maybe. Not prospering when it comes to reality television. She really wasn't doing much of anything besides being an IG model, right? But okay. All right. Okay, let me see. What else did I want to mention in regards to this? So she brings up the fact that it could be Kelly. She brings up the fact it could be Brit. And they both are like, no. But Kelly's reaction to Brit saying, like, why would I do that? I wouldn't do something like that. I would have no reason. Like, we're good. If we had our issues, we're good. And Kelly's over there like, ha, ha, ha. And then she's bumping Shamea's arm like, yeah, you're right. She's very capable of doing something like that. So then they bring over Messy Marcus. But apparently, Angela didn't tell Charles that this is her plan. That's where you messed up. But I get why she didn't tell Charles. Angela didn't tell Charles because Charles would have told her, don't do that. Don't do that at my event. So as soon as they start bringing in Messy Marcus, Drew brings in Messy Marcus, Charles is just like, oh, you got to leave. So the enforcer, Charles, what he was known as during his basketball days, is like, you got to leave. And he has him escorted out. And Angela's like, no, it's just listen to me. Because she basically wants him to admit that this is the housewife that did this. She's like, I'm trying to vindicate you. He's like, I don't care. So he's done with it. He's like, take my mic. I'm done. I don't want to deal with this. He was about to lay Marcus out. And to be honest with you, we do not condone violence, but I wouldn't have been mad at it. I wouldn't have been mad at it. But where you failed, Angela, was not telling Charles. Or at least, if you weren't going to tell Charles, make sure that he stays inside the room. Figure out a way to keep him inside the room. Or do this somewhere else. So there's this big scuff up between Charles trying to have Marcus kicked out. And Marcus is like, I'm trying to apologize. I apologize. I'm so sorry for doing that. And that, I'm like, okay, wait, what's happening though? What's happening right now? So eventually, Charles is done. He unmics, and Angela brings Messy Marcus over to basically spill the tea that Phaedra was the one that hired him to do this. He did, in a voice note, admit, wait, do we have the voice note? We do have the voice note. Let's play it. For those that may have missed the live that I did on Friday, where I talked about this. Let's play the voice note since we got it. And this is from the girls are fighting on Twitter, but also we have from Mary Cosby fan page on Twitter as well. Hold on, let me play this one first.
Yeah, you know, Athens is a small town, girl.
I know.
And I'm sure you know, it's a very small town, and you know, everybody kind of knows everybody there, and everybody too also kind of protects everybody there.
I get it. So I want you to still be in good graces with your family, but I still have to protect myself, and I want you to be protected. But I didn't lie on you, but you lied on me. So you have to just make it right.
And I did. And I want you to understand, I truly meant that apology I gave you the other day. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even eat for like 24 hours, Angela. I felt disgusted.
Sidebar, he's now claiming that Angela's creating all of this, that Angela's lying. So which one is it? You've been caught in lies, Messy Marcus. You know what I mean? Like, you've been caught in lies, so you're not a reliable reporter.
That happened. Mm-hmm. And
so what was it like? Was it a phone call? Like, hey, I need you to meet me here? Because how did it come about? And I know at the table you said, well, you know how this goes. I truly don't. I don't know how this works. I don't know how it works.
Pretty Browska says he couldn't eat. Okay, sir. I mean, he's not a reliable reporter, but I do believe a housewife was behind this. I do believe that. I don't believe that he just did this on his own. He decided to show up at this event. Angela, at this particular point, people weren't talking about the cast, confirming who the cast was at this particular point. So for him to come there with some random tea, it feels like a reach. But he wasn't done. There was more to this recorded conversation.
Girl,
I know.
Will he say something to you?
No, nothing at all.
Yeah. Oh.
Did she pay you?
Yes.
Did she pay you? Or is it just like, did she pay you to do it? Or is it just like, I just do this?
Pay me? No, she ain't pay me.
Oh, that was just messy. Messy.
Angela, if it's one thing I'm gonna lie on this hill and tell you, bitch, you can call me messy because it was a messy gay moment.
It was. And
you can clock, Angela, if it's not one thing, I'm gonna tell you one thing about me is I'm very honest. Clock me on the messy gay moment because
one thing we can definitely say, Messy Marcus, is that you are not honest.
It was messy. It was so messy. It was so long and messy. And honestly, to be honest, I didn't even think anything was going to come after it after security kicked me out of the Williams and Snow. Did he say something to you?
No. Not at all.
I will say this, and this is all I'm going to say. If cameras were rolling when Phaedra walked up to the event, she walked up to me and kissed me on my cheek and whispered something in my ear. I don't know if they have that on camera, but I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay.
You hear Angela writing stuff down?
Okay, and
Yeah, and I will say, unfortunately for us, it was before she was mine. I will say this.
I don't know who to believe in the situation. I don't believe him 100% because he's now switching up his story. I do believe a housewife is behind it, and I don't necessarily feel like Phaedra is completely innocent. Just on how Phaedra moved. Literally in this scene, this is Angela, once he reveals Phaedra was the one behind it, and he called Phaedra the godfather, the godfather of Atlanta.
What is this, honey?
The godfather of Atlanta. Okay? So he calls her that. But here's the thing. Because when Phaedra denies this, and she's like, why would I come for you? I've just met you. And Porsha in her confession is like, why would Phaedra come for her? She just met her. There's no reason for her to do that. Not Porsha saying, oh, Phaedra's being framed. I don't think Phaedra's being framed. Because when you look at Phaedra's confessionals, she was already coming for Angela. Already coming into the season. She was already in scenes talking about, I ain't never heard of Angela. I've met Charles multiple times, but I've never heard of Angela. So she was coming for Angela already. She was coming for a lot of people already. And I was like, why are you coming for people and you don't have issues with them? It doesn't make sense. So I do believe there's some plausibility that Phaedra had something to do with it. But he then goes on to say that he met up with someone in Phipps. I went to Phipps when I went to Atlanta. I will be going to Phipps again. Okay, that's across from Lenox Mall. They're very two different malls. I prefer Phipps. Lenox gave me anxiety. It was too many people. I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now? Anyway, I will be going to Phipps again. I had a meal in Phipps. I was like, yes, Phipps, this is more my speed. All right. So he met with someone in Phipps, and he says that, he's like, well, who is the person's name? It was a man. He's like, Junebug.
What is this, honey?
Junebug. So he met some man named Junebug that had something to do with Phaedra. Phaedra, again, is denying this. She's like, why would I have an issue with you? Why would I have an issue with you? So Angela says, well, and she quotes The Godfather. And she says that Phaedra was the one to give her the information about who Marcus is. Phaedra randomly knows who Marcus is. She's like, oh, I recognize him. Here's his full name. I do believe that Phaedra has something to do with it because she was the first one to go to Angela, be like, ignore him, girl. Don't pay any attention to him. All right? Don't pay any attention to him. And then you were the first person to call Porsha, because you know Porsha's filming, and tell her about it. And then you're the first person to call Angela, all right, to tell Angela his full government? There's something very suspicious. And I also don't think, Porsha, you're innocent either. Because for those that are saying that, well, Phaedra had no issue with Angela. She just came in. But you know who did have an issue with Angela from the beginning of the season? Porsha. Who probably updated Phaedra on everything that's been happening during the season? Porsha. Who had pretty much worried that this season, because remember that this season being successful was riding on Porsha's return. We all said that Porsha was a flop this season as a full-time housewife, friend of fantastic, but she was a flop. So this season not doing well. Porsha, you already saw what Porsha was doing. Okay, let's go all the way back. During filming, we were talking about how often everyone was coming out on social media from this cast, specifically Porsha, talking about what's been happening during filming. And I was like, Porsha's doing a little too much about talking about what's happening during filming. I thought you're not allowed to talk about that stuff. So I felt like she was trying to promote this lackluster season. Okay? For those that keep asking why I can't go on, watch what happens, this is why. Because I'm going to tell the truth. Damn it. I'm going to tell the truth. So Porsha was already upselling this season before the season even aired. She saw how the season was going. Production was probably telling her the season's not going well. We got to include the Kenya of it all. We got to bring Phaedra back. We got to do this. We got to do that. She went on her YouTube channel because those ratings have been lackluster too. Talking about the season, trying to spill tea on the season there. Trying to promote. All right? All right, exactly. Savannah says, wait, do I have that? Do I have the receipts proof timeline on my thing? Hold on. Do I have that? Wait, let me see if I think I do have that. I do.
It is about time. Timeline, screenshots, is everything.
Right? Come on. Exactly, Christian. Exactly, Christian. Christian says, Kemp, you're too honest. That's why they don't send you the screeners, but you don't need them. Keep being you. Exactly. All right, we selling out shows. Come on now. All right, but
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, is everything.
look, I'll make a song to that. Look. Come on. And I told you, if they bring it back Phaedra, if they include the Kenya of it all, roll the tape. I said this from months ago. If they include the Kenya of it all, the season's not hitting. Do I think they had a decent season? Yes. Will I go back and watch the season? No. So if Andy says to me, what'd you think of the season, Kempire? It was mid.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It was mid. And he's going to be like, oh. He's going to have one of those Titus moments again. Go on with your show. Go on with your show. All right. So Angela brings up the fact that Phaedra was the one that gave her the information. She gave the full government, gave Marcus his full government. And I get it. Atlanta's small, so people do know each other. None of us knew who Marcus was. None of us knew who Marcus was. So I do find it suspicious that Phaedra knew who Marcus was. And I do believe Phaedra has something to do with it. I do. And Phaedra trying to play like, I just came back. Why would I ever do something like that? I do declare, oh, no. Can I get a boiled egg? Come on. Her trying to act as a, girl, you've done much worse. So why wouldn't you do something like this? Why wouldn't you do something like this? Just saying. All right. So we have that moment. Okay, we have that moment. Shout out to our members. Our members are already backstage. I've already posted it on the post tab live chat. We're already at over 1,100 likes. So thank you guys so much for that. Can we get to 1,200 likes? Let's get to 1,200 likes, and I will drop the call and link for you guys in the live chat. I already know our members are going to have a lot of things to say, but please respect the timer, members. Keith, speaking of members, thank you for the super chat. Keith says, speaking of Chicago Slide, how's Chicago, Keith? Keith says, Phaedra is boring without her mood board. Porsha. Ooh. No surprise on Watch What Happens Live. I thought she was lackluster on Watch What Happens Live. I'm like, she's not really that entertaining. No surprise on Watch What Happens Live. And why did Shamea look like she was about to slay dragons at this fundraiser? Shamea looks so bad. Shamea does not have good fashion at all. At all. Pretty Brown Skin, thank you so much for another super chat. They say, today is the last day of sickle cell awareness. My girl is getting a transplant to be cured right now. She is day 75 in the hospital. Prayers for Miss Kai. Prayers for her. Shout out. I didn't know it was sickle cell awareness month. Is it sickle cell awareness month? Shout out to you and your friend. Prayers up for your friend. Wow. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says, I just donated. Don't shame me anymore. Kendra, thank you so much. You helped us reach our goal today. Thank you, Kendra. We appreciate it. Let me see. Queen K, thank you so much for the Queen says, I hate that Desiccated has a platform now. I agree. I mean, look, let's not give too much credit. He's used this platform. He won't have a platform after this. But again, lesson to the new housewives, don't do this next season. Stop bringing fans on the show. We've seen this already, even recent years on Real Housewives. It doesn't work out well. Not for the fans that are watching it or the show. Sharon, thank you so much for the super chat. Sharon says Shamea was cosplaying Assassin's Creed. Sidebar, speaking of Marvel. No. Are you guys watching Ironheart? I know they're getting a lot of backlash right now, but the show is good. It's on Disney Plus, and Marvel and Disney are not really promoting it, Go watch it, guys. I can't wait for the next 3 episodes to come out. I watched the first 3 episodes. It's so good. It's like it is a spinoff from Black Panther. And it's an executive produced by Ryan Coogler. It's so good. So all 2,000 of us, go watch it on Disney Plus if you have Disney Plus. I know a lot of us have all the apps. It's so good. I love it. I love it. So go check it out. So they bring it back so we can get another season. I don't know why they're getting so much backlash. People hate diversity. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's so good. Who cares about diversity? It's actually lit. It's really good. So thank you so much, Sharon, for the super chat. Tech Garage, thank you for the super chat. Tech Garage says, instead of the usual toast at the end of the reunion, I hope Miss Diane is rolled out on a bed and she passes out pepperoni pieces to everyone. Well, that's a perfect segue because the final scene, after all the big blow up that happens between Phaedra and Angela, another reason why I believe Phaedra was behind it, because although Phaedra claims that she doesn't have any issues with Angela, as soon as Angela says, I believe that you were behind it, she's like, how about we talk about your foreclosures? And I was like, and there it is. You were plotting and planning on Angela. You say you don't have an issue with her, but you have information about her foreclosures? And Angela's like, girl, that ain't T. She's like, that ain't T. I talk about my business. And I was like, come on, Angela. That's how you do it. She's like, that is not T. She's been talking about the issues with her properties since the beginning of the season. But for me, that was the tell about Phaedra. I was like, oh, Phaedra, so you say you don't have an issue with someone. You never had an issue, you just got here, yet you know about her foreclosures. For me, that was sort of like, oh, and there it is. Phaedra's not that bright. I know she likes to act as if she's a wordsmith and she's very smart and she's got these businesses and da-da-da. She's not that bright. Because you saw how she handled, for an attorney, you saw how, well, first of all, you saw she handled Sheree's divorce in court. She got schooled by a non-lawyer. Okay? But we also win a case. We also saw how she handled the Porsha and Candy situation. She was all humana. You're supposed to be an attorney. You're supposed to be able to keep your hands clean. So for those that keep saying, well, no, Phaedra's smarter than that. Why would she do something like that? Blah, blah, blah. She's done it before. She has a pattern. She has a history. She's also not that bright. I know we like to give her credit, but she's not. She's not that bright when it comes to these things. Mr. Melon Magic, thank you so much for the super chat. Mr. Melon Magic says Faye did it because she had that confused screw face, like when right? Go back to the season with the Candy and Porsha of it all. She had the same exact face when Candy and Porsha argued in Hawaii about a rumor she started. Is Brit coming? Is Brit coming? Wait, of course not into the reunion. Yeah. Brit and Shamea end up getting into it. You know what I hate? Ever since Kenya said, who is this hoe? Although these women tried to denounce what Kenya did, and we have as well, but you saw how what Kenya did, they started utilizing that against Brit the entire season. Anytime they got in a fight with Brit, they would talk about her being a hoe or being this or that. That was their go-to. So that says to me, y'all really didn't see a problem with what Kenya did, because that's y'all run with that narrative too about Brit. Brandy says, why was Angela saying Marcus was paid? Did she say that? Because didn't on the voice note he said that he wasn't paid? I mean, look, it doesn't. The fact that he didn't get paid just tells you how thirsty he was. Just tells you how thirsty he was. Are you guys following me on Twitch? You should, because I think I'm going to start going live streaming just there because the quality there is really, really good. So make sure you guys follow me on Twitch, TheKempire on Twitch. Shout out to our Twitch fam. I see you, Carolyn. Thank you so much. Cecilia is watching on Twitter. She says, it's not Angela's fault. It's the fault of whoever sent him in the first place. All right. Skinny is watching me on Twitch as well. Shout out to our Twitch fam. Hey, Carolyn. All right. Thank you, Carol. Carol said, I'm going to watch it to support. Thank you. All right. Skinny on Twitch says, Candy spoke to this saying Phaedra had her connects down at the courthouse. Remember that? So I do believe that Phaedra and I think Porsha were involved. I do. I definitely think a housewife was involved. I don't think Messy Marcus literally did this on his own. I think he could have decided not to do it, but I do believe that. Okay. Pretty Brown Skin says, thank you for the super chat. Pretty Brown says, well, technically Sickle Cell Month is in September. This month was World Sickle Cell Day. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Kai is my daughter. She's sick. Oh, she also has a foundation. Thank you so much, Pretty Brown. Okay. Jay, thank you so much for the super chat. Jay says that Messy Marcus guy reminds me of Drew's messy assistant, Anthony. Or are they rewriting storylines? And you know what it is? These messy gay guys go on Real Housewives, not realizing that production and the network are literally utilizing the messy gay stereotype intentionally. And they're not afraid. And again, you know, it's Atlanta. There's always someone that wants to be on reality television. And just thirsty. I hate the fact that they even leaned into that and ran with that. Brandy, thank you so much for the super chat. Brandy says, by the way, I watched Running Point because of you. Loved it. Yes, Running Point on Netflix. That's a really good show too. Thank you, Brandy. See, my Rex be coming through. Would I recommend Next Gen NYC? Look at my face. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm making a screw face like, I watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, But I probably will talk about it in my Philly show. Guys, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era is coming to Philly on July 10th. Yes, we'll be at City Winery on July 10th. Tickets are now on sale. Don't forget, tomorrow's July 1st. So I don't know what you're waiting on, Philly. We should have sold out our show. The way y'all were telling me, Kempire, come back to Philly. We should have sold out already. Very much like how we reached our goal, we should have sold out. So spread the word, Philly. Kempire is coming back to Philadelphia on July 10th at City Winery. Then we're coming to Atlanta on August 5th at City Winery there. And then we're coming to DC on August 22nd. And then back here in New York City, all shows, New York City show is September 12th. And then all shows have meet and greets, but the New York City show has a live stream option. So even if you're coming to the other shows, what I say in New York City won't be what I say in the other cities. So get your tickets today. More information on the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era. The ticket information will be available in the description. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, Phaedra is the kind of people that swear she's the smartest in the room. And the Phaedra's defenders want to gaslight us like this isn't her behavior. Here's the thing. I know people like to pretend like they're Phaedra stans, but those ratings are not equating to the standum that is Phaedra. For those that are such big fans of Phaedra, y'all didn't really show up when it comes to the ratings, but everyone blames Beyonce one week. They blame another thing another week, but okay. But fine. All right, live chat. I'm going to drop the call link for you guys. We have over almost 3,000 of you watching. Be sure to like the video. I don't know why we have like 2,800 of you watching, but 1,200 likes. We should have 2,000 likes, but okay. All right, so I'm going to drop the call and link for the general audience in the chat. Everyone's getting 30 seconds. 30 seconds everyone is getting. So please utilize it correctly and focus on the things that you want to focus on. Again, we can skip all the niceties. I know you all love me. But let's get to the point. Your 30 seconds are here, okay? All right, before we get here, let me just say thank you, Brandy, for the super chat. Brandy says, right, Marcus said that he was not paid when talking to Angela, but Angela said several times that the show that he was paid. So what the hell? I don't know. Maybe she just feels that way. I don't know. Maybe it's before she had that conversation with him. I don't know. Because remember, she had a conversation with him on camera, and then apparently she had a phone conversation with him as well. K-Baby says 489,000 views for RHOA is embarrassing. But look, but Phaedra brings the boys to the yard, said no one ever. All right, let's get to our callers, guys. Remember, the opinions of the callers not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors. Don't forget our sponsors, Factor Meals, is sponsoring today. Be sure to check out the description. And everything that they say is alleged. Alleged. Okay. All right. I will take a step. Miss Bernice is backstage. Miss Bernice is first. Miss Bernice.
Ooh, I'm first. Whoa, shut up. Okay.
You're up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. What up, though? What up, though? I'm just gonna talk about Shamea and Porsha. Y'all have to remember, long as Porsha doesn't need Shamea, she's gonna keep her at arm's length. Has never defended Shamea. Remember back when the season when everything came out about her and Candy, they had been downgrading Shamea, as in Miss Phaedra talking about Shamea all around town, and Porsha never defended her. Now this is your friend since what, elementary or junior high, but she never defended her. She always believed what Phaedra said. So you always kept your friendship with her at an arm's length. If you didn't need her, you didn't defend her. She wasn't your friend. She was a fair weather friend, and that's it. Remember, when Porsha came on the show, she said she's coming as Porsha Gramadia. So she was living that life, being married, having money and all that great stuff. She didn't need Shamea. But when reality hit her and the divorce came along, she needed Shamea for support. So she drug her in a little bit more. So it doesn't surprise me that she would believe what the girlfriend said about her, because she's never been really a truly friend to Shamea. Shamea been there for her, but she ain't never been there for Shamea. So I'm not surprised. But other than that, have a good day.
You too. Thank you, Miss Bernice. All right. Dr. Miss Honey says Phaedra's face was so tight when Angela brought Marcus in. Yeah, I do believe Phaedra had something to do with it, guys. But again, we will never really 100% know. I feel like Messy Marcus has been inconsistent with what he's been saying on social media versus what he says in the conversation with Angela. I believe a housewife was definitely behind it. I don't think it was Kelly, and I don't think it was Brit. I don't think it was Shamea. Shamea was busy in her confessional, just like just taking it all in. She's like, this is juicy. She's like, did Drew write this? Oh no, she just acts in Tubi movies. You'll be lucky to get into a Tubi movie, Shamea. Stop with the shade. That was so unnecessary. That's why I said, with Drew whacking her in her confession about Shamea singing, fine. All right? Hey, Donna. Donna says, just bought my Kempire Pride t-shirt. Yes, guys, I always forget to remind you guys. Yes, we have our Pride merch and Juneteenth merch available. New stuff, new logos, Pride merch. So, we had our elephant logo from last year. We have new Pride merch now available for this year. So go get it, because after this week, we will be discontinuing the Pride merch and the Juneteenth merch until next year. So make sure you go check it out. Thank you, Donna, for supporting. We appreciate your support. You can also check out our sweatshirts and everything else that's there as well. I have some other merch ideas that I want to do. All right. Yeah, Naomi, she's the godfather of Atlanta, apparently. He seems a little touched. Damn, come on, can we be honest? He did seem a little touched. I could say a lot of things, but I'll save it for the Philly show. Look. I look like Leonardo DiCaprio at the Jeff Bezos wedding. Leo, why are you hiding under a hat? We see you. We see you at this, all private jets, and you're supposed to be about the planet. Anyway. I digress. Oh, you know what? I'll probably talk about that on my Club Kempire, so we can really have some kitchen table talk. Become a member today of our Club Kempire on the Apple Podcast. You'll see the option there. I will. I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about with our Club Kempire baddies. We'll talk about the Jeff Bezos wedding and all the things that I want to say there. All right. Okay, let me move on. Okay. All right. Toy's backstage. Toy's been waiting patiently backstage. Toy, what's going on?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to say that Phaedra's faces that she was making when she was accused, I was like, girl, you look a little disfigured. Like, she looked so weird to me with the faces that she was making. Like, why do you look like that? I'm sorry. It just was bothering me. And the reaction that she was giving, like, I would just expect when someone says your name, you would have more of a, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just going to be making those faces like you're trying to come up with a lie. Sorry. And with Shamea's showcase, I feel like that was really good. Like, to me, for a celebrity, I mean, someone who doesn't have a record label, that's really good for her.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I agree. Thanks, Toya. I actually like the venue. I was like, oh, this is a nice little venue. Maybe next time I come to Atlanta, I'll do my show there. All right, Dalen's backstage. Dalen, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I
Hey.
just want to say my favorite newbie is Angela. My favorite vet of this season was Drew, actually, and Cynthia. And I want to say that Marcus, unnecessary, very thirsty. Someone go get him a lifetime supply of water. Quench that thirst. Phaedra tells on herself every time she gets caught in some mess because her facial expressions and the way she moves. And Blicky Minaj, we will not have to see you ever again after this episode. Goodbye.
Thanks, Dalen.
Bye.
Bye. At least Nicki Minaj is funny. Like, I think Nicki Minaj would be fantastic reality television. All right, DJ's backstage. Gonna bring DJ up next. DJ, what did you want to share?
Hey, what's up, Kempire? How you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
I just can't believe it. I mean, that whole scene was done so poor. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, he calling her the Godfather, stuttering through every sentence. Angela sweating up a storm. I mean, it was just, I didn't know what was going on. Like, I can't believe it for that reason. And there's no receipts. Last night he said he didn't get paid. Then in the recording he's saying, or last night he said he did get paid. Then in recording he's saying he's not getting paid. It's too inconsistent. So that kind of sucked. I think Kelly needs to go. Not a big fan of her at all. Brit needs to go too. But this was overall a really, really good season. And sorry for Porsha's loss. It sucked because I feel like the inconsistency with her divorce and the death in the family just kind of took away what she could have gave. So yeah.
Okay.
And I hope to see you either in Atlanta or Philly. Really, yeah. So that's my plan.
Okay. See you soon. All right. Thanks to DJ. Let's bring up Angel next. Angel, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
Okay, I just wanted to say that the whole season was beyond, like, below mid. I would only give it a 5.5. Just being generous because of the last 3 episodes and because there were only 17 episodes. I don't know why we're dragging this out to a 3-part reunion. It could be done in 1. But I also want to tell everybody, thanks for donating to the center. I'm glad we reached the goal because I was going to take up my time to say that everybody needs to donate at least $1 so I can personally write Dr. Gregory and tell him to perform next year on your float at NY Prime.
Angel, get out of here, Angel.
I mean, we raised it for the soundboard. We can raise it for the parade. Come on, guys, keep donating. Just because we made the goal doesn't mean we need to stop. So that's it.
Oh, don't be surprised. We're gonna do a Pride Mix version of that damn song. All right, thanks, Angel. All right, Cynthia's backstage. We're gonna bring Cynthia up next. Cynthia, what's going on? Cynthia, you're muted. Cynthia. Oh, there we go.
Hi, Kempire. Can you come back to me?
Sure. Oh, Cynthia's busy beating up her sister again. No, I'm playing. If you were here, you understand why I said that. All right. Taurus with the T is backstage. Taurus with the T, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kemp. Happy Monday.
You too.
Wanted to say really quickly that I agree with your sentiments about Shamea saying that Brit spoke on her child. She did not. I really hate to see parents take that avenue when it comes to handling conflict with people.
Yep.
You should not weaponize your parenthood against other people to make yourself a victim in a situation in which you created. And I'm definitely here for Kelly, for Brit actually whacking Kelly in every conversation that she has now. I don't really find Kelly enjoyable, and I'm not a Brit stan, but I'm kind of glad to see her calling a thing when it needs to be done. And also, I do believe that Shamea was showing her text messages to Brit and Kelly when they were on bad terms. She's just afraid to confront Porsha with that.
Okay.
Bye, Kim.
Thanks, Taurus with the T. Miss Esquire, Miss Esquire's fault that we have this damn song in here, but this sounds kind of lit. Where's the producers at? Miss Esquire says, somebody who's a DJ, please mix Set Me Free with Break My Soul. I can already hear it the minute you said it. Stop. Y'all making me mad that y'all making me think that that could be a hot song. Damn it. All right. Let me bring up Anthony next. We'll come back to Cynthia in just a second. Anthony, what's going on?
Hey everyone, Anthony from Los Angeles, California. How are you today, Kempire?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good. So I'm gonna give this episode a 7 out of 10. This whole season a 5 out of 10. They got rid of Kenya to keep Brit, who needs to be told what the appropriate amount is to give to charity, but she just decided to go private plane shopping and sports car shopping and bought nothing. That jet scene alone, I got secondhand embarrassment, especially from Michael. He looked so nervous and scared, like someone was about to ask him for a credit card. Goodbye, Brit. I did not want to see her. Lastly, Phaedra did it. She brought a man who can't be near her school to spread lies. I'm sure Porsha had involvement in it as well, since she was the first one to bring up Charles' infidelity.
Oh,
but that's all. And thank you so much, Kempire.
Thanks, Anthony. See, and if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let me know who you think. Matter of fact, let me do a poll. Hold on, while I'm doing this, guys, keep tapping your screens and keep I can't do a poll. Oh, I have to end this poll. End this poll. All right, 48% of you voted that this episode was like between a 7 and a 10, which isn't bad. Let me do a poll though. I want to see if you guys think, who do you think was behind this? Hold on, please hold. Who do you think was behind the messy gay against Angela? I know he's getting his life. This is when you're so thirsty, you don't care why you're on reality television. You just care that people are talking about you. I'm gonna give you Porsha as an option. I'm gonna give you Phaedra as an option. I'm gonna give you both Phaedra and Porsha. Or I'm gonna give you as another option Kelly, because it was Kelly's event. I don't think Brit had anything to do with it. To me, I mean, she could. I'm not saying it's impossible, but let's see what you guys think. I just posted it in our YouTube live chat. Let's get to some of the other callers, because I still have your Diddy update for today. I got to see. There might be not a full Diddy update because they're supposed to get their marching orders when it comes to the jury instructions today, and then they're supposed to start deliberating. So there might not be a Diddy update today because there really won't be anything to talk about Diddy in regards to that. So stay tuned. We'll see. All right. Let me come back to Cynthia. Cynthia, are you ready?
I'm ready. Hi, Kempire. How you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. You know, my other sister was in the car when she's like, you told him the story about beating up Necca?
And did.
It's okay. And did. It's all good. Kempire, you know what? Another option that you should have included was production. I think production has something to do with it.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I should have put production. But let's just focus on the Housewives.
Phaedra and production.
Let's focus on the Housewives.
Yeah, I think it's Phaedra.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I think it's Phaedra and production that has something to do with that rumor. And you know what? They probably did it on purpose to gear up for the next season. What do you think?
Possible. Did I lose you? Where are you?
No, man, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I was just thinking about it too. And Kempire, my favorite part, I love the way that Shamea read Brittany for filth. What do you think about that?
Why are you asking me questions? This is your opportunity to speak.
I know. I just want to get your input too. But Kempire, also, the episode wasn't bad last night though. It was okay.
Okay. All right.
That's about it. It was okay.
All right, Cynthia. Thank you so much for calling in.
You're welcome. Have a good one, Kempire.
You too. Bye. This is my opportunity to get a break from talking. Y'all asking me questions? No, this is y'all time to talk. I do love the fact that they show the clip of Aunt Bertha, because Porsha brought up the fact that this was a scheme that Todd set up, so they flash back to that. I did love that. All right, Excommunicado's backstage. Excommunicado, what did you want to share? Excommunicado, you're muted.
Yeah, hi Kempire.
Hey.
So for the Brit and Shamea part, I know during Shamea's interview, what she said was that Brit made a comment like, don't you have a baby to go take care of? So I feel like that kind of was in line with what Brit said, but it wasn't really talking about her daughter per se, but about her.
Yeah, reference her
Um,
daughter.
then on the and yes, Brit brought that information to like Porsha, like Shamia did this recently, but that conversation that they had was before Porsha and Brit had their talk and their white flag event. So that's kind of also rubs me wrong. But for Phaedra, I'm not a Phaedra fan, first of all, but I'm one of those who do not believe that it's her.
Okay.
Firstly, because I feel like it's too easy unless she's like the bottom of the barrel dumb of housewives for her to come back now and then pull the same stunt for which you were just kicked out of. So I don't believe it's her. And also, she knows Charles. So why would you try to ruin Charles's reputation for Angela, who you do not really know? That doesn't make sense
She
to
also
me.
was really good friends with Candy. Like, she was actually good friends. She knows of Charles. She's not friends with Charles. She hadn't seen Charles in
Yeah,
years.
but in terms of Candy, she had a bone to pick on the show because this is someone on the show, so you can spar with them. But her relationship with Charles is like more personal, and then Charles is someone who is
She hadn't
of
seen Charles
good
in years.
reputation.
And when we talk about people having relationships on the show, they weren't friends. They probably saw each other at events.
Okay, but also,
Well,
if
your
she
time
was the one
your
who
time has
did
run
that,
out, and now we have to go.
let me just quickly say it. If my theory is this, I feel like production set this up for Angela to blame Phaedra, and then for next season for them to come and then redeem Phaedra that it wasn't her.
Okay. All right.
That is what I was saying because she can't after setting it up, she gave Angela the details. That makes no sense.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Excommunicado. All right. Let's bring up Jess next. Jess, what did you want to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to share that the whole Porsha and Shamea debacle, it's like it's always worked in Shamea's favor for the most part whenever she's been off camera because people can always reference the wedding and all these relevant experiences as to why Porsha has been a bad friend. But throughout the season, it's just kind of like, coming in and this is still an issue for you, but you've been in her wedding, you've been a part of her life, you've been there consistently over the years for her. It just kind of makes it seem as if, like, for you, you have to continue the narrative that Porsha is a bad friend in order to, like, sort of like make yourself seem like so proud. And then lastly, just with the Phaedra and Angela thing, I do think that she would do this because of the fact that it makes sense for her to try to find an outsider to tell the story so that she can keep her hands clean and not have it come back to her. So it does make sense that she would go behind someone else in order for both her and Porsha to have their hands clean. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thanks, Jess.
Bye.
Bye. Look, again, do I think either side has any solid information in regards to this, especially when your source is Messy Marcus and he has been flip-flopping in regards to the information? So yeah, I feel like there isn't solid proof here, but what would be the point of, I definitely think a housewife is behind this. I don't even know if I even believe production is behind it. I wouldn't put it past them, but I really do believe that a housewife is behind it, or housewives are behind it. Pretty Brown Skin's backstage. We're going to bring Pretty Brown Skin up next. Pretty Brown Skin, what did you want to share?
Yes, I just wanted to say that, first of all, that scene with Phaedra, that was just so disgusting. Like, I'm in my mouth. It's like, ugh. And then that whole situation between Shamea and Brit, that was just completely uncalled for and ridiculous. Shamea picks on low-hanging fruit, and I feel like that energy, that Shamina energy that she has for everybody else that people have beef with, she never has for Porsha. And that's really it.
Thank you so much, Pretty Brown Skin, for calling in. Bye. All right. Amit says, call Nene. Maybe she knows Athens Junebug. Oh, Lord. All right. Let's bring up Tyler next. Tyler, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I will say this. I feel like Phaedra definitely did that. She's not, I mean, as soon as you said something about the foreclosure thing, that was gonna be your next read. You did that. And Portia, the plan clueless this time doesn't work out. It'll be figured out next season. Let me say this. Shamea, what you should have said to Brit was, yes, I did discuss how I felt about Portia, but you're not gonna bring this up and you knew that this happened a while ago. That's what you should have said because you
did do it. But let me say this, Shamea is better than me because what you're not going to do is question my parenting towards my sick child. I would have yanked Brit by those teeth. Other let me say, and last but not least, Angela. I love Angela, but a lot of people are not picking up on. I understand that Portia's cousin passed, but Angela is thirsty to be Portia's friend, and I do not understand it. I do not understand it. Why are you honoring her? There's no way she would even be anywhere near my husband, up there, anything with her reputation and the things that she has said. I would not have done that. But I mean, and you had already planned it because the fact this was way before the I mean, you planned this before her cousin died. Her cousin died suddenly. So you already planned to honor her and you just threw the cousin in there. You are weird, Angela. You are desperate to be her friend. And people are not clocking it. That's why you're going at Shamea so hard because you really want to be in with the it girls. Just saying.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Call a thing a thing. Look, we've been calling Angela out from the beginning of the season. I was like, here go Angela pre-producing and being the producer's pet. So we've been clocking it. We're not one of the ones over here like, oh my God, Queen Angela. We've liked Angela in these last few episodes, but I can see it, Tyler. I can see it. Chef Lorraine, thank you so much for being a member and for donating to our fundraiser. We've reached our goal of the fundraiser, but keep on donating because every dollar counts. We appreciate it. Miss Esquire, thank you for being a member for 41 months. Miss Esquire says, RHOA has turned into House of Villains, its own House of Villains. These are not friends. At best, some people are allies. Inviting Phaedra back confirms the name of the game is to play as dirty as possible. I agree. There are no real friendships on this in this cast, which is why the show was successful before. There were deeper connections, maybe not the best of friends, but people knew of each other. A lot of these people are not close like that. The only real friends here, at least were friends, were Shamea and Porsha. Thank you so much, Pretty Brown Skin, for another super chat. Say what you want. Drew be working. That's true. She definitely be working. Satra, thank you so much for the super chat. Satra says, they said Porsha and Shamea reunited when Porsha cast RHOA her first season. Phaedra is the godfather mother everyone goes to jail for. Damn. Well, I know Apollo would agree with that. Candace, thank you so much for the super chat. Candace says, who that man in your picture, Candace? Your husband? Candace says, Phaedra's response was interesting to me. Phaedra said, you are accusing me of something with no proof. Why didn't she say something I didn't do? I agree. I'm so glad people are paying attention to Phaedra's body language and the things that she said or didn't say. I agree with this. She says, you are accusing me of something with no proof. Is that the first words that would come out of your mouth if you didn't do something? J.I., thank you so much for the super chat. J.I. says, are we going to talk about how production is protecting Angela? Why they didn't air Charles saying the word that rhymes with maggot? Did he say that? Was that a rumor that was out there? Because I believe someone had said that on Twitter, but you can't believe everything that you say on Twitter. I wouldn't be surprised that they edited that out. You know, they like to protect who they want to protect. They probably want Charles Oakley to come back on the show. Again, unless we were there, unless multiple people can confirm that, that's just a rumor. I don't know if he actually did say that. Samantha says, y'all remember in the beginning of the season, Porsha said she knew something about Charles. I don't think Portia's innocent in regards to this. No matter if you're a Porsha stan, I don't think she's necessarily innocent. They've been trying to talk about Charles the entire season to the point where Charles, during the reunion, like, y'all keep talking about me. They're like, where your husbands at? NYC DMP, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Please let O'Shea talk as long as he can. Is O'Shea backstage? O'Shea's not even here. NYC DMP. All right, let me get to the rest of these calls so I can get out of here because I got more work to do. Talaya is backstage. Talaya, are you there? Or Talaya?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Okay, real quick, 3 things. I don't know what's up with Shamea. It's just sad that she keep getting worse and worse with these fashions, but it makes sense if Kelly's people are stuck dressing her, given Kelly's fashions as well. Second thing, frickin' Frack finna get in trouble again because of Frack or whichever one Phaedra is, because she always puts her face up like she trying to figure out what stink. Third thing, I don't know why Portia got mad at Cynthia for telling Shamea what was discussed. She wasn't mad and talking about whose place it was to tell what happened at Kelly's event. So why you worried about what Cynthia running and telling about what was said between her, Shamea, and Britt and what's her name? Like I don't get it. Like you can't pick and choose who running tea when you want to. Tea is tea. We gonna all drop it, sip it, whatever you want to say. So
Okay.
that's all.
Thank you for calling in. Bye. All right. I agree with this point. Elise says, I think Messy Marcus would have been saying that on his podcast had Charles said that. It is a rumor from a hater. That's what I was saying. Like I didn't see any reliable sources confirming that Charles actually said something like that. Just saying. All right, let's get to the rest of our callers. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Be sure to donate to our Pride Month fundraiser as well. And be sure to share. Sharing is caring. Tell people more about what we're doing here. And don't forget, the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to Philly on July 10th, Atlanta on August 5th. Then we'll be in DC on August 22nd, and then back here in New York City on September 12th. More information will be available in the description. All right, let me bring up Sarah next. Sarah, what did you want to share?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hi.
Hey.
I don't think too much hard about this show, but I will say first of all, Charles Oakley, I'm so sorry to curse, is full of shit. The second episode, he was coming at Angela saying that her weave stinks. I think he's a terrible person. I don't know why nobody talks about that. Second of all, I think that this whole season's kind of dragged out with like the whole like glam squad thing. It's like that, like you guys need like attaching to like a false storyline with miscommunication. Like it's not like the old Real Housewives of Atlanta. And third, I definitely think Phaedra had some type of part in it, and I think that it's my time, but at least I try to say everything.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Sarah. Next time, don't curse though. How you gonna give a disclaimer for a curse when you're not supposed to curse? Okay. All right. Keisha with the E is backstage. Keisha, what's going on?
Good afternoon, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thank you. So I really don't have much to say about this season. I say overall, I'll give it a 6. It really wasn't that interesting. And it's so crazy how things change because at the beginning, episode 1, Shamea's birthday party, I was all good for a good twerk, all of that. But now it's like, Mama, you trying a little bit too hard. So hopefully second season, she can probably be able to vindicate herself. Phaedra, phony Faye, she just gets on my everlasting last nerve. I do think that she is behind the whole setup, probably with Porsha. Probably part of the reason why they did bring her back because they know that she can stir up some stuff. So that's it.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Keisha.
Kempire.
You too. All right, let's bring up. I had to bring up the reunion look. I had to bring up the reunion look. All right, Pinky's backstage. We're gonna bring Pinky up next. Pinky, what did you want to share? Pinky, you're muted.
Oh, hey, Kempire.
Hey.
Just a couple things. One, I really enjoyed Angela this season. But I really do think she should have had a separate sit down if she was going to bring Marcus on the show. I think having it at the event was not it. What else? Shamea looked a mess. I wish Brittany played her cards right. If she played her cards right, I could see her making a redemption next season or just playing that villain era. I think that's everything.
Okay.
Overall, I think I give the season a 7.
Okay, that's not bad. All right, thanks, Pinky.
Thanks, Kempire.
Bye. All right, we have Jalen backstage. We're gonna bring Jalen next. Jalen, what did you want to share?
Ooh, first of all, let me say I'm so excited that I'm on the live for the first time. I
Yes.
love you so much.
Thank you.
I
Where are you
just
calling
wanted
from?
to say,
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma.
Yes, go Thunder all day.
Is that basketball?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes, NBA champs all day.
Oh, yeah, they do win.
Yes, yes. Just real quick, I wanted to say if anybody noticed, because I watch Married to Medicine also, when she came on and Phaedra came on in her first season and she was talking about this is just a lovely group of people. And had I had this same support, I probably would have still been married. Now, don't get me wrong, I think she did it. So why would you come on here with the only woman that's really married? Because I really don't think Brit's married either. Why would you come on here trying to go for the big fish? We know who Charles Oakley is, an NBA star and all of that. So why would you come in there, especially when you're sitting there saying, "Oh, well, I didn't know she had a husband. I didn't know that that was his wife or XXX." But he's so much fun. Girl, please. Next.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Jalen, for calling in.
Thank you.
Bye. Hey, look, go back on recent behavior. We can excuse everything with Phaedra from before. Not that we can excuse. We can forget it for a hot second. Go look at her behavior on Married to Medicine. Like, she's not an authentic person. She lies just to lie. So I do believe that she was behind this in some shape or form. All right, Elijah's backstage. Elijah, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So I wanted to share a couple things. I think that for me, the whole thing with Shamea and Britt, like I think that Shamea really isn't as nice as she says she is, and I could see and I would appreciate her if actually she would walk into that villain vibe because I feel like when she addressed Britt, she was being a little nasty with her, and I think that she has that in her. She I don't think she's a bad person, but I don't think she's as nice as she says she is. And then Britt. I feel like Britt, like I could have liked her for the end of the season with her beef with Kelly. If nothing with the whole Kenya thing had happened and the threat and all that, it's not because I love Kenya, because I do like Kenya. It's because Britt, for me, she shows that she's a desperate person with no type of identity. And so therefore, I can't really stand her at the end, you know what I'm saying, with even though I appreciate her, you know, what she did with Kelly. And then also the other thing is, or the way she fought back Kelly, I should say. And the other thing is Angela did that thing. I feel like she really took that scene. And even though she's a little pre-produced, she ate. And Phaedra's definitely behind it. Honestly, I liked Phaedra, but she's a liar. She's just a liar. The genie in a bottle's a liar.
Thanks, Elijah. Bye. Oh, Brandy's backstage. Gonna bring Brandy up next. Brandy, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I just wanted to say that Shamea has lost all credibility throughout this season. She had me thinking that Britt said something way worse about her child. And even when at the in Grenada at the table when she was telling Britt, if I was being passive aggressive against you, you would know it. It's like, okay, well then we know. Like, is Shamea stupid or what? But Drew shading Shamea was so unnecessary throughout her performance. But Shamea shading Drew also was unnecessary, so you get what you get. And oh, I was started watching Running Point, but I had stopped. But once you said it was good, I started watching it again and finished it, and it was so good.
Right? Oh my God, it's such a good show.
Yes, it was good.
Thanks, Brandy.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, hold on. Okay, yeah, Running Point's a series with what's her name? Goldie Hawn's daughter. I can't think of her name right now, but it's a good show. And also, what's his face? Jay Ellis from Insecure is also in it. Really, really good show. It's like a comedy, dramedy show. But go watch Ironheart first on Disney Plus. It's 3 episodes already out. All right, Audrey's backstage. We're gonna bring Audrey up next. Audrey, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just wanted to say really quickly, and I want to preface this with saying I do like Angela. I do think she's the MVP of the show. But if you listen closely to how she was screaming at Charles to stop, like you can hear a lot of pain in her voice. She seems really insecure about her marriage. It almost sounded like she was projecting, even though I do think Phaedra was somehow behind it. It sounded like she was projecting. Like when she said to Phaedra, "You want a marriage," it sounded like she was saying it back to herself, like, "I want a marriage." You know, it just seemed like she's so used to digging around, finding out what Charles is doing. It kind of, it kind of makes her come off less confident. And that's so sad because in every single scene, I mean, Angela's body is just ridiculous. Like, I don't know if you saw that neon dress that she wore to Shamea. The body is sick. And she also seems to have a pleasant personality. So she's someone who should be confident in her marriage. When she talks about how good looking Charles is, it's like, yeah, but you're good looking too.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like it,
She'd been hyping
she
him
just
up this
has a lot.
entire season.
Right, right. And it's like actually she should big up herself because she really is that girl. So anyway, that's something I noticed and it kind of made me a little sad for her. Like, wow, she really is that insecure. But that's all I wanted to say. I could have done without the last shot of a Porsha in the house. It's like good luck keeping that house, girl. Good luck getting that alimony, girl, while he's over there in Nigeria. And and then Dirty Diana came in. I was like, I'm done with the season. I'm so glad it's over. But anyway, that's all I had to say, Kempire. Happy Pride Month, last day of Pride Month, and you take care, hon. Oh, and I'll see you in August in Atlanta. Y'all get your tickets.
Yes, Audrey. Thank you so much. See you again. And I'm gonna let Audrey speak her mind. I'm gonna let Miss Esquire speak her mind in just a second. We didn't even talk about that last scene. We didn't even talk. I think we briefly talked about it because you remember during the season they couldn't film in Porsha's home because there was that injunction from Simon. He was fighting that, and then she was able to film, and then so that we have this final scene with Porsha, and she's able to film in the home. We get to see her on the treadmill in a full beat of makeup, and then Miss Diane comes over with no pizza, and she's like, "Oh, we have a lawyer. We have an appointment with the lawyer and to talk about the divorce and blah blah blah." We fast forward. We know the resolution. They upheld the prenuptial agreement. She's supposed to get $40,000 a month for like 14, 15 months. She gets to keep the Rolls Royce. She gets to stay in the house for like 30 something months. Or she can sell the house and then get 50% of the equity to Simon. I don't know how much equity is in the home. Remember, Simon is a scammer. So who knows how much equity is actually in this home? But it is a $7 million home. So I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, that we had that final scene. They were able to finally film in the home. But please understand, Porsha will be back next season, and she will be filming everything in that home. Okay. We have a bunch of, because if Brit doesn't come back next season, so who's married on the show? Drew is going through a divorce. Portia's divorced. Kelly's divorced. Shamea is married, but we barely saw Gerald. Gerald's not even at the reunion. Angela's married. Okay. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. I agree with this. M. Williams says, I agree. Charles Oakley will never win the Miss Congeniality Award, but no one can say that he doesn't show up for his wife. Charles participated in the cooking contest and other events and he's at the reunion. Yeah, I definitely think and look, Angela has owned the fact that their relationship is not perfect and that they've had infidelity in the relationship. But I also can agree that I don't always love the way that he speaks to Angela. I also don't love how she's always uplifting him, and he doesn't feel like he does the same. Belladonna, thank you so much because two things can be true. I don't love how he does that, but he could still be a good guy when it comes to his relationship with her. Belladonna, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Guys, you can also support just by liking the video. Queen K, thank you for another super chat. Queen K says, for Brit, I understand when she calls out issues, but not including the Kelly argument, she can go from 0 to 1,000. She's one like Marlo in that regard. Or like Larsa. Remember we talk about that with Larsa all the time. Like she goes from one thing to the pits of hell very quickly. NYC DMP, thank you so much for the super chat. Can we please extend the Pride Month, Pride Summer? I mean, it's gonna always be Pride Month over here. Ooh! Okay. All right. Last but definitely not least, let's bring up Miss Esquire. Miss Esquire, what did you have to say about the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 finale?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so sorry I haven't talked to you in so long. These people really want me to work and be a lawyer. Here's the thing about Brit. I really don't understand. I don't see it for Brit's narrative, but I don't understand how people don't see that her and Phaedra are cut from a very similar cloth. Now, it may be polyester, and the blend might be a little bit heavier on the polyester for Brit, but it's the same cloth, baby. Okay. And they are both married or were married to men who obviously have scammer written all over them. Brit's husband, we can't find a jet broker license. I think that might have been why he was nervous in that scene and not because he was, people were going to ask him for any type of, money that doesn't jingle. But also Phaedra was married to somebody who was a scammer, a criminally convicted one. And they both lie with impunity. I think the thing that Phaedra does is she keeps her octave lower. That's the only difference. Britt is very animated, but Phaedra goes to hell too. Like, I mean, you go low with her, she goes absolutely to hell. And I think she's demonstrated that time and time again. So I don't see her being like Marlo. I actually see her being more like Phaedra because at least Marlo had the good sense to not be attached to a man publicly that would embarrass her. So, I'll just say that. Maybe in that way, she's very much like Larsa. With Angela Oakley, I wish she had stayed off the show. I really do. I don't think this was the cast for her to join. I wish when they had asked her years ago that she would have joined when it was Phaedra and Sheree and Nene and Cynthia. Those are the women that I think she could have danced with because they actually did have rules and they had rules of engagement. And these girls have none. And Angela is not going to fare well in this situation. Her husband's a grump. Do I think he's a cheater and a grump? No, I think he was a cheater and a grump. I don't think he's that anymore. I think he's just a grumpy old man. And anybody who knows Charles Oakley knows he's a grump.
But here's the thing: if she had joined back then, that's when they were going through all their troubles.
Well, I mean, listen, who would she have been? Who was gonna throw the first stone? Because all of them was living in glass houses
Oh
at that
well, you
time.
go.
And that's,
Good
but
point.
see, that was what the girls back in the day knew. It's like, listen, if I got tea and you got tea, I'm not gonna throw stones at your house if I know I'm living in a glass one as well.
Yeah.
Like Nene was married to a grump. We don't remember that, Greg, God rest his soul, he was not endearing until he got humbled after that divorce, baby.
Yeah.
And then he came back in and he was team Nene. But them first few seasons, he was definitely trying to play, I'm the breadwinner. I'm the, star of this relationship, and you really need to still be my housewife. He was a grump. And so, and he was a grump who had a past situation with having infidelity in their
Yeah.
relationship. So let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. So Angela just doesn't belong on this cast. These women have no scruples at all. Like there's no rules of engagement, there's no boundaries with them. And that is why this show is going to self-destruct soon. Because somebody at some point they're going to decide that this check is not worth the damage it does to their reputations and their families.
Yeah.
Now I don't know when that's going to be because obviously a lot of them live in Swiss cheese homes and have Swiss cheese families and relationships, so I guess they don't mind more holes being punched in it, but everybody has a limit, I would think. So yeah, I would suggest she get off this show until they truly revamp it with women of a certain age and a certain character.
Okay.
And Kelly is not that, so she can go ahead and stay on here. And Portia and Shamia aren't that. And if anybody thinks Phaedra didn't have her hand in this mess, like you obviously haven't been watching this show for 15 seasons.
Or just watching Married to Medicine.
Yeah, Phaedra is not like literally the Phaedra that we met is not this woman. I don't understand how someone makes such a change in character and personality. The Phaedra of Rose seasons 3 through 7 would not recognize this woman, nor would she ever associate with her. Like she wouldn't associate with her past self or her future self. Like they would never be friends. This is not the same person. This is a persona now that Phaedra is playing on television.
Yep.
She's realized what her role is, what's going to keep her paid. We will never see the real Phaedra again.
Yep. Yep. I
So,
agree. I'm actually really surprised they even brought it back. But here we
yeah,
are.
because she's willing to play a certain role. That's why I'm like, she's willing to do what production needs done. She's willing to be a villain. She's made money off of being a villain, literally. She does not mind that role anymore. She just knows the boundaries to play within legally now, the framework she should be in legally. But ethically, she'll do whatever she needs to do. She does not care about those consequences of being disliked anymore.
No, she
She's in her
definitely.
villain era for real.
Yeah. Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss
All right,
Esquire.
honey. Talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right. All right. We're going to end it out there. Thank you to everyone that called in. Thank you to everyone that has sent in super chats. We appreciate your support. Edward, thank you for the super chat. Edward says, at this point, why still have housewives if there's literally none? They might as well have renamed or canceled some of them. I agree. That's why I'm so interested why they're leaning into all of these women that are coming on the show that are going through divorces or are actually not married. I just like, doesn't make sense to the show. And it doesn't work. Because literally, if you look at what's happening with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, that entire cast now are all single women. even including Rachel Zoe. She just got a divorce. So like, what are you doing? It didn't work on Real Housewives of New York. You had to reboot that entire thing. So I don't know what they're doing, but if you guys had to rate the season of Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16, their Sweet 16, how would you rate it? What changes do you think they need to make? Or will they make any changes for next season? They've lost Kenya. They've lost Brit. I know a lot of people are wondering whether or not Kenya will come back next season. I really believe if this lawsuit, because remember, it's not a full-fledged lawsuit. I don't believe NBC or Bravo have been formally informed that there is a lawsuit. This was just in the press. There is an index number, but I don't believe she's done all the things you're supposed to do to make this a full-fledged lawsuit. If this lawsuit doesn't go through, like she doesn't actually go through with it, then I can see the potential of Kenya returning. But if they do, there's no way that Bravo is going to be in the middle of a lawsuit where Kenya is the focal point of it and bring her back in the middle of it. So we shall see. We shall see in regards to that. I know a lot of people are wondering if Nene will come back. Again, we shall see. She's this is a better opportunity for Nene to come back because the show is sort of in this weird place with ratings declining. And also she's in a better relationship. They're out of mediation and she's actually working with them. So it's possible for Nene to return, but Nene was supposed to return via Traders. And I thought that would have been a perfect segue for her to possibly come back. But who knows? I haven't heard anything in regards to Nene and talks to coming back. But when I do, the Kempire After Dark audience will hear first. So if you're coming to our Philly show on July 10th, if you plan to come, go get your tickets today. More ticket information is available in the description. Don't forget, we're also coming to Atlanta on August 5th, then DC on August 22nd, and then we'll be back here in New York City on September 12th. Kempire After Dark, the villain era is officially here. Go get your tickets today. And again, be sure to check out the description for our merch, our cameos, and of course, our sponsor for today, Factor Meals. Thank you to our King's Guards for holding us down. We appreciate their support. Miss Bernice, thank you so much for the super chat. Bernice says, yes, Miss Esquire, 8, love that intelligence. We love an intelligent audience, and we love an intelligent read. Thank you so much, Bernice, for the super chat. See you at the New York City show. Don't forget, the New York City show also has a live stream option. So even if you're not able to make it because maybe you live in another city that we're not coming to, or you live abroad, go get your tickets for the live stream option for the New York City show that's happening September 12th. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. And thank you to those of you watching in the bushes. Shout out to those of you watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and where else? Where else are we streaming? That's it, I guess. Yeah, Facebook, right? All right. All right, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned for your Diddy updates. And if you haven't checked it out, subscribe to the Kempire podcast because you can hear your Diddy updates there as well. There's also a playlist here as well. Oh, wait, let me look at the poll. So I asked you in the poll on YouTube, who do you think was behind the messy gay against Angela? So 45% of you believe that it was both Phaedra and Porsha. This is with over 1,000 votes. 43% of you think that it was Phaedra. So more of you believe that it was both Phaedra and Porsha, and 44% of you believe that it was just Phaedra. 6% of you believe that it was Kelly. 5% of you believe that it was Porsha. That's interesting. That is definitely interesting. All right, stay tuned, guys. Thank you all for being here. I will see you in the next one. Probably the next one will be Real Housewives of Miami recap this week. So stay tuned for that on Thursday. All right, guys. I'll see you all later. Bye. Here we go now.